Arvidsson's got it, lifts it high up into the air. It comes down onto Nikishin's head, and that's the way it's going to end. Middlestad breaking for the empty net, but the time will expire before he scores. Bruins hang on and win it. 2-1 the final score. And they sweep the 3-game homestand this week here at TD Garden and have won 4 of their last 5 to get back to the 500 mark. Expire before he scores. Bruins hang on and win it. 2-1 the final score. And they sweep the 3-game homestand this week here at TD Garden and have won 4 of their last 5 to get back to the 500 mark. Expire before he scores. Bruins hang on and win it. 2-1 the final score. And they sweep the 3-game homestand this week here.
All right, welcome in. 98.5 The Sports Sub. Mark Dondero, George Balekji after a Bruins win. Nice win for the Bruins today. And sort of, George, we're not going to spend all day. We're on till the Celtics say they're doing a lot of work today over at TD Garden. It's sort of type of win I feel like that the Bruins need more of. That's just me. That's the type of team I sort of envisioned before the season started. Can the Bruins win games in that form or fashion? And it didn't really happen, earlier in the day. In fact, they were playing a lot of higher scoring games. Today, they were able to kind of play the type of game that I thought they'd be playing more frequently this season. And they got a good win. I mean, for me, it's a long way to go.
2-1 over the Canes, 3 in a row. Swayman plays well. McAvoy with 2 assists. You get the depth scores from Arvidsson and Middlestad. But I agree with you. Good win. Great. What is this team still? And that's still what we're trying to figure out as well. Because get the 3 wins in a row against a quality opponent in Carolina, 7 wins on the year. But this is still a team that we see the lack of speed. We see the lack of depth. Now, the scoring did step up today. It's just still that team that you watch, Mark, and it just looks middle of the pack on the ice. Looks like they're a middling team. And it's the same thing I'll always say. Boston, Philly, New York, LA, Chicago. Standards are different for sports in that city. You don't want to be middling. You pick a lane. I'm not saying they're going to tank. But you can't just be content with being middling. Being in that second wild card spot and getting into the playoffs. So you get that first round money and maybe the second round money because you own the building. Needs to be more than that.
I think you just said it, and it's not fair at all, but it is the reality, and it's how I operate. And again, it's not fair, but tough. I mean, that's just the way it goes. The expectations are what they are after this 25-year run that the city's experienced. That's where it is. I'm admittedly saying it's not fair to judge everybody on the Tom Brady prism, the Tom Brady spectrum, or the bar, whatever you want to call it. But it's just the way it is. I mean, that's what a lot of people grew up on. That's what a lot of people are used to. That's the expectation. You compete. And we see what it takes to compete after that stretch of time where they've won all those championships. And the Bruins right now just don't add up. It just, the math doesn't math, as they like to say, or JJ Redick likes to say. It doesn't work. And I'll never, look, I don't want to come on here and I'm not calling for Don Sweeney's job. I don't understand why they renewed him. I don't understand why they didn't want to start over and start fresh and sort of give the fans a sense of hope that they didn't really have, for a long time based on the leadership that was in place. I don't understand why they didn't want somebody that had a better proven track record drafting players. I don't get any of that. And then you couple that with an underwhelming roster and an underwhelming start of the season. Not that it's been a disaster. I genuinely don't know where I turn to get excited. I'm just being honest. Like, where do I turn to get excited about what they're doing? I'm not trying to be, negative or, I don't know where to turn. Other than, hey, it's the black and gold and we love them and it's the bees and it's hockey.
Original six.
And all those, like, you like going to a game, you like hockey.
Yeah.
Other than that feel good, it's always nice to have hockey around. I don't know where you turn to genuinely be excited about the team. That's just being real.
And it's a continued construction of what we've seen on this team, too. This is what Konstantinov playing significant minutes, but it's what Pavel Zacha is your second-line center. It's with the issues that we see on the ice, and it's a lack of leadership, too. So to your point on they bring in a new head coach, Marco Sturm. It was Bruce Cassidy. It was Jim Montgomery. Then that blew up in their faces the beginning of last season, and now it's Marco Sturm, who is a transition coach, is a bridge coach, as they're trying to figure out to get past the Bergeron, Marchand, Chara era, Krejci era, right? That's all behind them. No one's left from that championship team in 2011. No one's left from that culture. Yes, there's Charlie McAvoy. Yes, there's David Pastrnak. But those guys are so different as leaders for this team. So they're trying to get past that. What always boggles my mind, that Don Sweeney is a general manager for Team Canada. He sees what the best hockey players in the world looks like. And the way they draft, to your point, seems to be the exact opposite. It's speed up front. Still waiting on Fabian Lysell to click. Or he'll just be an all-AHL Hall of Famer one day.
Oh, yeah.
James Hagen's a BC. Right pick. He fell in the draft. You get him at that spot. You take him. He's going to take a little while to develop. But then it gets into the way they approach a free agency. You want to have a great first line and a good top nine. They signed a bunch of bottom six guys, like fourth liners, and they're making them be in that top nine. It just, the long-term outlook for the team doesn't make sense. And the way I put it all together when I talk about how the culture, what Chara, Bergeron, Marchand, Krejci have done, no one's wearing a C on their jersey this season. It should have been Charlie McAvoy. For him not to earn that's the most damning thing. That's what we need to see long-term, what this ends up becoming. David Pastrnak, he's not the number one guy. He's not a leader. He's a number one scorer on the ice. Fine. He's not that captain. He should wear the A. Fine. I think Morgan Geekie, the way he's been playing the season, he will wear an A next season. But they need to find that guy that commands a room and can be that branch off Marco Sturm's tree as well to assist him there. And they just don't have it right now. And that's what I wonder with this team.
And keep in mind, George, the C, the captain matters. I mean, look at what we saw with
100%.
Brad Marchand. It just didn't work out. As much as we all appreciate Brad Marchand as a captain and as a leader, that just didn't work out. He's just not the guy and the type of culture that the captain is supposed to bring to the team, even though he's a great player. It just
to
didn't
that,
happen.
though, when he was captain, can you imagine you're finally the captain, the dream anyone grows up with? What was it, 20 games into the season, the head coach gets fired?
Right.
There was so much going on there. Mm-hmm. I don't care who the captain is. It's really hard to overcome that, Mark.
It is. And that move right there, since you brought it up, ended the Don Sweeney era for me. That was a move out of utter desperation. It was a move that signified he had no idea what he was doing. He was lost. It was desperate, lost, and that was that. And I just couldn't get on board with making a move like that at that time, especially after what Jim Montgomery had done. It's not like they sucked with Jim Montgomery here. They were pretty good with Jim Montgomery here. I didn't understand it. It was Sweeney just fishing and flailing and not having a clue as to where the direction of this team should have been heading or was headed or all of the above. And I didn't like it, and I still don't like it. And I just, again, why or what do I have in front of me that's going to get me excited? Mm-hmm. I mean, the most passionate Bruins fan, answer that. And if you want to call on the Bruins, you got to do it now. 617-779-0985. And if you don't call, well, that will also speak to me. And we'll move right along, because I don't know what the answer to the question is, but why should I get excited about this team? I can look at other teams that might not be having the success I want in this city, but I can still find a reason to get excited. Roman Anthony, playoff appearance for the Red Sox, something like that. Obviously, in the Patriots situation.
Garrett Crochet.
Sure. There you go.
Ace, stud.
Right.
A guy that goes out.
Now, did they do everything humanly? No.
No.
So we could get, that's another conversation. We can apply that to the World Series. But you see what I'm saying.
My thing, too, and I get what you're saying and I'm not asking for the standard of Patriots dynasty, Tom Brady, but we know a good, competitive, quality team when we see it. It's the same thing of what I love about Boston's of food. You go to the North End, and 80% of the restaurants you walk in, you'll be like, man, that was some of the best Italian food I had. Yeah. You know quality when you taste it with a restaurant. You don't have to go to the 5-star, have to book a reservation 3 months ahead to have good food here in the city. That's not what I'm asking for. The chef that you brought in from a different country. with all this science going behind it, everything crazy, and it's a knockout of the park every time. It's ups and downs, but a team that should fight their way. To your point, you bring up the Red Sox. It was ups and downs. It was really ugly at certain points, and there was a lot of flawed baseball and dumb baseball with that team. But we knew they were a team that can mess around the playoffs when they make it, and we see the foundation. My thing, it always comes back to, it's the Don Sweeney presser. It's what the Bruins do. Brad Stevens did the same thing with the Celtics. Don't call it a rebuild. Don't call it a reload. No, it's not. I hate rebuild. It's a rebuild for the Bruins. It is. Own that. Understand that. And you know what? We need that urgency. You don't want it to be called a rebuild. Show a sense of urgency to bring in proven commodity talent for the Bruins. And guess what? We'll stop calling it a rebuild if that's a serious team on the ice.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Again, a rebuild, okay, that's what it is, but it's clear how you rebuild most effectively through the draft. And we've seen what Don Sweeney has done through the draft. Now,
I'm
not here to crush Don Sweeney, okay, because I thought what was it, 2 years ago? I forget what year, 2023, the year they had the historic season, and they ended up choking in the playoffs.
Yep, against the Panthers.
Against the Panthers, before the Panthers went on their historic run. And I don't care that the Panthers went on a historic run afterwards, by the way. They still should have been better in that series or should have won that series. That wasn't on Don Sweeney. That team had more than enough talent, and they were more than capable. Okay? He did his job that year. But that's not the question now. The question now is, what do they need here and in this moment? And what they need now is draft picks to pan out, and he has not been as good there. That year, he was good at supplementing the roster with what they had, adding some veterans, adding some pieces that gave them the talent to do what they wanted to do. They just couldn't do it. Now you need draft picks, and it's been long enough for Don Sweeney. And then he fires a coach. I'm not going to say out of nowhere, but he panics and fires a coach. Not good enough. Mm-hmm. And you need to be able to draft guys. He hasn't proven recently that he's effective enough doing that. And as a result, that's why I thought they needed to move on. And when they didn't, that said something to me, and that really turned me off to what this team's doing, especially when you juxtapose that with what the roster is.
Last 4 drafts, I'm not including 2025.
Yeah.
2024, 23, 22, 21. Those drafts. Looking through it, not a single one of those guys are contributing on the NHL sheet for the Bruins right now. Last 4 drafts.
I went to a P Bruins game last spring.
How was that?
It was great. I mean, half of
How was Fabian Lysell?
Oh, he won an award. He won a minor league AHL award. Or
I
think it was a Providence Bruins award.
I didn't know he won that award. I was making it up as an AHL Hall of Famer. I'm not shocked.
Is this Rusty and Woburn? I'm locked up in here, George. Yeah, just pull him out. Hey, Rusty.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up?
I'm a Canes fan. I'm a season ticket holder to the Bruins. You guys are missing the point. The Atlantic Division is terrible this year. Toronto's off. Florida's hurt. Tampa's not playing well, and Ottawa's just banged up as well. And to see Carolina not do this today, and the Bruins are lucky that Buffalo remembered the.
Rusty, we lost you.
We lost him.
I'm good on my screen if you want me to run the calls.
Do you have it?
I got you.
Hold on. I'll get back in.
No, you're good. So the Atlantic Division's terrible, so it's okay for the Bruins to be terrible. That's what Rusty's
isn't about
saying.
the Atlantic Division.
You don't put this together to win the division. You don't score 135 points in a season to get bounced in the first round and be up in the series and lose in 7. You don't do the same thing the next season, 109-point year to lose in the second round. You don't make your roster moves to beat or to win your division. You build your roster to be a contender and win the cup. It's simple. Because why have the Panthers been able to be a contender every year since, to your point, that 2022-2023 season when they upset the Bruins and ruined their historical year? Why are the Florida Panthers every year able to be contenders? Not a playoff team. Contenders. Why can they do that? Why have the Oilers been able to reach the final last 2 years? They're coming up short. They have the best player. They have the most dominant player in the 4 major league sports right now. They do.
It's unbelievable.
Why are they able to do that?
Yeah.
And for the Bruins, it's, we're good.
Well, listen.
Turnstills, first round, maybe second round.
Here's the thing. How many times over the years did the Bruins try to do what the Panthers did in regards to Brad Marchand? Meaning the Panthers brought in a veteran who was was past his prime, but they're bringing him in just for his experience and for what he could do in a playoff run. And maybe he could contribute, maybe he could get hot, maybe he could find the fountain of youth, whatever. But they bring him in to help put them over the top, and that's exactly what Brad Marchand did for them last year. Now, they had won the year before, but Brad Marchand did exactly that. The Bruins never could have that. Why? And we're also coming off of a stretch of 10 years. How long's Don Sweeney been here? A stretch where, why couldn't they win a second, George? You know what I'm saying? Like, they had the talent. They won one. That core, if you go back 10 years when that core was still here, Chara and Krejci and Marchand and Bergeron, why couldn't they ever get that second one? Now, Don Sweeney, again, 22, 23, not his fault, but there was still something going on that he played a role in because they never could get that second one, despite the fact that they had a core that had won, and despite the fact that in the NHL, how many franchises since the Bruins won their last cup have won multiple Stanley Cups? Mm-hmm. The Panthers, the Lightning, the Kings, the Penguins. It's not like it doesn't happen. It's not Major League Baseball since 2000 where you haven't had, and I know multiple teams have won, but there weren't back-to-back champions or whatever. I mean, my point is multiple teams have won multiple cups since it could be done. They haven't done it.
It's sustainable, that type of success.
So something was off. Something was wrong.
You bring up, this is my second time as well, being on air, coming out of a Bruins game. 617-779-0985. By the way, to want to call in, 617-779-0985. We had one caller today, and he's calling to yell at us, which is fine. Call and yell at us. My last time on, I had 3 callers. They were all about Morgan Geekie, which I loved. I love hearing from the fans. The Bruins just won their 3rd game in a row. How are you not lighting up the phone lines to yell at me and Mark and say, why are you guys talking about Don Sweeney and how you're unpleased with this team? Or why are you not lighting up the phone lines to say, we want more from this team? The disinterest in the city because they see the same team we do.
Just tell me what to be excited about. I want a team to root for. I want to get excited about the hockey team. I love hockey. Why can't I get excited? I have nothing. If
Morgan
you have
Geekie.
something, tell it.
I love Morgan.
George put on the sheet. Morgan Geekie's goal streak. All
nice.
right.
What does that do, right? He is amongst the league leader, though.
I like Morgan Geekie.
He's been worth every penny since that extension.
Yeah, I like him. But what do you want me to do with this? It's fine. I'm not trying to be negative, or I don't genuinely know where I can turn to get excited. That's all. There's no signature. Like Pasternak's a good player. And by the way, I'm going to do it. I'll do it. Can somebody go online, and there's like a meme or whatever you want to call it, a clip where Pasternak says pasta. Have you seen this?
Of course.
Okay. Somebody needs to sync up the audio and the video. It drives me nuts. Because you see it, and he like moves his mouth, his lips. He's like, and then it says pasta. It's like, can somebody just take 2 seconds and sync that up? Like, it drives me nuts. But I shouldn't get that worked up over an internet meme or whatever. All right,
you care about it. I like it.
Let's get a headlines with George. Yep. Are we taking a break, George?
Let's take a break. We see the callers
just headline,
lining
90
up.
seconds, no commercials.
Just headlines, no commercials. All right, so you get the headlines. We'll
Sweet.
be right back, no commercials. Back to your calls. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Telfair Tire Studios, WBZ HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group Station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Bruins win 2-1 today against the Hurricanes. That's 3 wins in a row for the Bees. Victor Arvidsson and Casey Middlestad with the Bees goals. Jeremy Swayman, 28 saves. Charlie McAvoy with 2 assists. They'll have 2 days off before taking on the Isles in Long Island as well. Patriots will be without starting running back Ramondre Stevenson versus the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow. Stevenson missed practice all week with a toe injury. That leaves rookie running back and first-round pick Travion Henderson and second-year undrafted free agent Terrell Jennings as the only backs on the roster. Michael Penix, Drake London, a go for Atlanta. Kickoff tomorrow at 1. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper with pregame. Bob Sosi and Scott Zolak on the call right here on the Sports Hub. And the Celtics looking to make it 4 straight wins tonight as they host the Rockets for the second half of a back-to-back. Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, both probable to play. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. You can catch Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell with the call right here on 98.5. These Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99. Head to the 9s for game day this Sunday. Score 6 packs of bone and wings for just $5.99 and full-size apps for just $6.99. You gotta love the 9s. I'm George Balekji for 98.5 Sports Hub. Your next update in 1 hour.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
The Sports Hub, Mark Dondero, George Balekji. Bruins get the win today. We have a few people on the line that want to talk Bruins hockey, and Stuart is in Florida. Hey, Stuart.
Hey, gentlemen, I'll cough and complain. You guys are a bunch of schmucks. They're not that bad. They're 7-7. Sweeney's done a pretty good job. They should be 10-4 because there are 3 games that they were in that they should have won. It's a new system. All they really need is a couple of rookies to pop. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not Pollyannish. But they're literally 2 young, fast scorers away from being a contending team. You guys are painting a bad picture of this team. They're not that bad.
Okay, so nothing that Stuart just said made me feel any better. They're 2 young scorers away from contending. They're 500. They're not that bad. Again, and it's not fair, but from the prism of where we both came, where I came from, I'll speak for myself, I just don't get excited about the picture that Stuart in Florida just painted. I like hockey. We went to a game. I took my kids. We saw, it was the game on, what was the holiday? Columbus Day. Great game against Tampa. They got out to a big deficit. They battled their way back. They just couldn't get it done in the end, and there was no scoring in the third period, and they had a chance to really get back in the game. Fine. I'm just saying, in terms of the young, hot talent,
Where's that coming from?
It's not there. The potential for a team, and I get it. Hockey, anything can happen, but you need players. You need some, and they just don't have it. Morgan Geeky's a nice player, but he can't be your
number 2
scorer. Yeah, I mean, you need more firepower than that, and they just don't have it. And now you look at what the Patriots are doing. You look at what the Celtics have done, and what the Red Sox sort of built up this summer. It makes it even worse. It makes it look even worse. That's what I'm having. That's where I am.
The 2 young scorers that they need to pop, and you don't know where they are going to come from. Neither does Marco Sturm. Neither do the guys that are playing on the ice, because the GM can't find them either. We need 2 young guys to pop. Morgan Geeky's popped. He's younger, 27, 28. Great. I'm not exaggerating. I'm literally looking at their last 5 drafts and excluding this past one where they took James Higgins in the top 10, who has to go back to D.C. to mature, put more weight on, get stronger to play at the NHL level. They have no one from their drafts from 2021 to 2024, including Matty Patra, who right now is contributing on an NHL sheet for the Bruins. That's not good,
and
guys.
He's had injury issues. He's not the biggest guy. I mean,
yeah, he needs to develop too. He showed the flash 2 years ago, and then he went down, and he just has not returned to be the same.
Tom is in Waltham. Hey, Tom.
Hey, guys. A lot of people out there missing the point. It starts at the top with the Jacobs. They didn't have what it takes to make a complete changeover with the management, with Sweeney and Neely. The drafting's been horrible since 2015. Granted, that was Sweeney's first draft, but where were the scouts? They had their heads up you know where. And the drafting over the years has been horrible. They couldn't even go out this year. And Neely brought it up when he was having the conference before the season started. They tried to get some goal scorers. They didn't want to come to the Bruins. The reason why is because no one wants to play for a team that's not going to make the playoffs. Plain and simple. And that's the way I feel. I've been a fan since probably 68, and I can't get excited about this team. I love hockey. I watch a lot of hockey, but I cannot get excited, but I do follow the Bruins.
I'm more in line with what Tom and Waltham's saying.
Tom, I love you.
I'm just... and I'm not happy about it. You forget how ridiculously educated the fans here become over the course of the 20 years. And we love sports here. That's part of this. We're not out to lunch. were dialed in, all of them. They watch all the documentaries. They consume all the content. They watch closely how these teams are built. They enjoy that process. They watch how the teams are built. They watch how the teams perform under pressure. They watch how the teams play in the playoffs. They watch how the teams, when they fail, how that and why that happens. All of the above. And as a result, you have a certain perspective, and you're very qualified to point out when things don't look exactly right. And with this organization, they don't look right. And he brought up the Jacobs, and I agree. Like that, there was never a more clear-cut time for a change. And again, I'm not trying to pummel Don Sweeney. I respect a lot of the moves he's made. But sometimes it's time for a change. Claude Julien, John Farrell. And that's okay. Belichick. It was time for a change. It's okay. He's a legend. He did a lot of great things. But it's time. You come to a point where it's time to change. And I thought when they fired Jim Montgomery in an early season, complete panic type of move, that was the last straw. And when they didn't, I didn't know where to turn at that point. And I'm disgusted. This is also a franchise that has no issue paying the players. One thing you cannot call the Bruins is cheap. And it's not Pasta making 11.2, or it's not Charlie McAvoy in his contract, even what they did with Mason Larrey and the extension that he signed this past offseason. But it's paying Tanner Jeannot $3.4 million, Victor Arvidsson $4 million. $7.5 million between those two guys. When you have that money to spend and you don't go out and get someone that's a high impact in the top 6, that's where I get lost. That's where, and I'm talking top 6 quality player, not your top 6. It was like when the Patriots signed Stephon Diggs. He's your wide receiver 1. Is he a wide receiver 1? No, but he's your wide receiver 1. These guys are their top 6, but they're not top 6 across the NHL. That's right. They don't have a Drake May on that team either. John in Rhode Island. Hey, John. And we lost John. Mike is in Gardner. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Mike?
Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I just had 2 points about, I think, Dondero, you mentioned the meme of Pasternak, and nothing grinds my gears more than watching subtitled movies, so I feel your pain there.
Yeah.
Also, just wanted to touch base and hear your thoughts on where we went from Montgomery setting those records that season to this absolute S show that we see now, because this is kind of embarrassing. I'll hear your thoughts.
Well, the first thing I would say, could be wrong, pretty obvious to me that the departure of Patrice Bergeron and that leadership void was an issue. They didn't have somebody to adequately come in and be a grown-up to the level that they needed in that room. Part of that blame goes on Jim Montgomery. I think that team roster-wise was better. The core that they still had that core intact enough where you had that core combined with some of the people on the team. Didn't they still have like Taylor Hall and guys like that? They were on their second or third. I mean, that was a better team.
Nick Foligno.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall. Where Foligno is a true like locker room guy, where that's someone you keep. Yes, he may be a fourth liner. Yes, he may not have that what he used to. But that's someone that keeps a locker room together and can be. It's not Patrice Bergeron. That's another head coach in the room. I remember the Blue Jackets game. I was covering it. Blue Jackets at Bees. They were playing like crap. And going into the third period, they left the room to Patrice Bergeron. And he had the simple message, guys, what are we doing here? Right? Let's pick it up and let's play. This is not good hockey. And they won that game. They don't have that guy right now.
No.
And they don't have the guys that can support him, like a Nick Foligno, like a Taylor Hall. Guys that will... Sure, Taylor Hall, when he was here, he wanted to be a first liner. He still had that quality of play. He still had that level. He had no problem being second, third line for the Bruins because he's playing next to a Patrice Bergeron. Because they're playing good quality winning hockey and winning at a high level. That's the void.
I don't know what you want me to say. I just wish there was some reason, even if it was a little far-fetched, to get me excited. There is nothing based on what they've done to earn my trust that they're going to be anywhere close to where I want them to be. Even at least with the Red Sox, was it likely that they were going to make a World Series run? No. But you could have concocted a scenario where maybe it would have happened. And hey, if this happens, or if Roman Anthony got back in the lineup, or if this did that, you could have made something out of nothing. You can't do that with there's no feasible way to do that with this Bruins situation as it is currently constituted. And that is what is so frustrating. and why I'm where I'm at. And if you can change my mind, and we can break down the individual games. I'd be doing more of that and trying to look for little pieces of glimmers of hope or whatever. But if we're on a Saturday and we're not on every day, I'm going to take a bigger picture view of everything, and we're going to talk about the bigger picture. If I was on every day, I'd be looking at more micro things. But that's not what we're on. So I'm looking at a bigger picture view of it. That's what I see. Today was a good win. They've had a few good wins. I think they need to play more games like this. At least you're playing on your terms when you play these types of games. And if Jeremy Swayman can do what he did today, I know Korpisalo's been good too the last few games. They need more of that and try to win games this way and build it out from there. They can't get into shootouts. They can't get into track meets, this team. So
something where you would want to see an improvement. Jeremy Swayman, great today. 96% save percentage. Last time we saw him out there, he let up 7 goals.
Yeah.
So who had to start 2 straight games? Eunice Korpisalo. With
my man Jonas, baby.
With everything that Jeremy Swayman said last offseason, throughout the holdouts, when he got signed, all of this, I'm the guy. I can be the guy. All the starts talk, the postseason talk, how he pulled through. Buddy, you got to do it in November. And show you can do it. In the regular season, before we even worry about that, you got paid. Eunice Korpisalo stepping up back-to-back starts. You can't. Come on.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that
when that much money's tied up in that one position.
Swayman's a wet blanket, too. He's annoying to listen to. I don't care for his perspective. I just... Not that that's the determining factor in terms of my affinity for the Bruins, but I I don't want to hear your voice. Just play well. Save the puck, and I'll like you. That's it. I don't want to hear you talk. Everyone's
had that teammate where they talk a ton. You know they're talented. It's like, dude, just shut up and play.
Just play.
Just like, we don't need you to be philosophical. We don't need you to be a leader. But when you're between the pipes, if you can be absolutely locked in, unconscious, a brick wall, that'll make us play for you. We do not care about the rest. He cares about the rest.
617-779-0985. We're going to move on to some other topics here, including the World Series. George, I want your thoughts on what's going on between the Dodgers and the Jays and how maybe it could relate to the Red Sox just because we've got a Game 7 tonight. We can talk about that as well. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's
Sports Hub.
Jimenez floats one, left field. Hernandez makes the catch. Back to second. Game 7 tomorrow night. It's a game-ending double play. Kike Hernandez to Miguel Rojas.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Mark Dondero, George Balekji. 617-779-0985. That was the call last night. Great call, by the way, at the end of that Dodgers game. Dodgers, Blue Jays, Game 6 from Toronto. Just inexcusable, George. You cannot. Who was it? Barber was on second?
Barger.
Barger.
And I liked him as a player,
He's
too.
a good
I was
player.
telling my wife that. Yeah.
You just absolutely inexcusable there.
It's right over your head, too.
Well, what has to happen there, and anybody should know this that's played baseball beyond high school, you need to, before the pitch, identify the vicinity of where those outfielders are playing.
Kike was playing in.
And know when the ball is off the bat, ooh, that could be near where he is. Because I've looked before the ball was even thrown, and I know that the outfielder was, shading to left center a little in. And the worst part about that, maybe not the worst part, George Springer was on deck. I mean, you've got to know, he's as clutch, he's as good, he's as savage as they come in that spot. You cannot get picked off there and doubled up. You would have been better off even if you didn't score. Okay, you can't get doubled up there. You have to freeze and make the right read there. This is the World Series. Brutal.
There was one out and nobody on first.
Second and third, no outs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there was one out. There was one out.
Yeah, there was the Clement.
Start there. That was awful, too. The Clement at bat was the first pitch in off the hands. You do that?
Yeah, a little jam shot.
He just got too jumpy.
Bailed him out.
He got too jumpy.
Correct.
That happens. The moment's too big. Like all of a sudden, lights are bright.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because at that point, you're down 3-1, runners on second and third, no outs. You're in the perfect position to push it to extras. Literally, it's right in front of you. At home, nonetheless. To win a World Series in Toronto. Would be epic. Does down the first pitch. All of a sudden, Barger gets tighter on second. All right, I got to make a big play to make up for it. The second that ball is made contact by Hernandez, because nothing about that ball coming off the bat looked like it was a line drive shot over Kike Hernandez's head. You literally just flip, watch the outfielder. Everyone knows this from Little League. And then he catches it and you just have your foot on second. If it drops, maybe give a little bit, or it's just bases juice to your point, George Springer. Moment got too big. And that is a team in the Dodgers. When you have them where you want them, you have to kill them.
Did I care for the call when the ball got wedged? So earlier in the inning, if you missed it, there was a double to left center. The ball gets wedged under the fence, under the wall. Now, credit to the Dodgers outfielder. Who is it? The guy, I don't even remember who it was.
Dean.
He gave him a defensive replacement. Immediately threw his hands in the air. Savvy. But I don't he could have easily gotten that ball out. I feel like you got to at least try to get it out and then put your hands in the air. That cost the Blue Jays a run. I didn't like that sequence. I get that's the rule.
But if it takes you one yank and then you don't get it in an extra,
that's the rule.
Hey, what is that? That's smart baseball. That's what the Dodgers had.
That's what, and give the Dodgers.
Blue Jays did not.
They've got all this fanfare. They've got all the money. They buy the free agents and they sign the big. But when it's come down to it, they have executed the fundamentals.
They play baseball.
Kike Hernandez, that was a heads-up play, and it was probably a better play by the second baseman, whose name is escaping me right now.
Miguel Rojas.
Rojas?
Yeah.
Great catch. Great pick
defender.
there. Keep his foot on the bag. But even the other night, what we saw Tommy Edman do in the outfield there where he slid, or some of the relays that they've made in the outfield, getting guys that are coming home, that's execution. That's just good fundamental baseball. That's not because you signed a guy to a $500 billion contract or whatever. Good execution.
The guys play behind them.
Yeah, and they haven't made the big mistakes on the base pass. And some of their guys haven't hit, and that's going to happen in baseball. And then what do you know? Mookie Betts last night. And by the way, Mookie Betts, never really all that good in the playoffs. He's had his moments.
Their 2020 run for the Dodgers, he was unbelievable. Okay, thank you. It's just,
but I'm more jaded by what he did with the Red Sox. He was never awesome with the Red Sox. I'm just saying he was never awesome in the playoffs with the Red Sox.
Okay.
In the playoffs.
Yes.
I'm talking about not obviously he was awesome overall.
Okay.
In the playoffs.
No. But I have a friend that says the same thing. And I was like, Mookie Betts, he sucks. And this is in 2021.
No.
I was like, he was their best player to win the World Series.
Correct.
People's champ. Do we have the Toronto
He
call?
should have been the MVP that year.
Yes. Do we have the Toronto call in that final out? Because that was Joe Davis on Fox, I assume, right?
Yes.
Yeah, give me a second.
I need to hear the Toronto call on that final play.
Just to give.
Sorry.
To not give Springer
Barger
a chance, even with 2 outs.
To your point, know who's on deck.
Right. That's
because the manager communicates to the base runner.
Let's hear the call.
The 1-0. Line drive, left center. Hernandez playing short, makes the grab. Throw to second. He's out. Barger doubled off, and the game is over.
Awful. Like, you just cannot with that guy on deck. He just had a hit earlier in the game to give you your only run. You can't. You have to give him a chance to hit.
You even hear it in the bravado of the play-by-play from Toronto. His voice, shrunk in the moment. Like, he got quieter, too. Because he was like, I don't even want to be saying what I'm seeing. At home, can force it to extras if George Springer does what you expect him to do. Just rip a nice double off the walls, buddy. Clear the bases.
At least just give him a chance. That's your guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy. I'd probably rather have him up in that spot than Vladdy. I mean, that's what he has made his living doing. Those types of moments.
The guy that's done it for Houston.
That's right.
Would do it for Toronto.
And did it for Toronto.
Yeah.
And has done it. And did it earlier in that game. That's all he had to do. And that pitcher was reeling. I know they brought in Glasgow, so he wasn't reeling. But they were reeling in that inning. Okay? And they were trying to find their field. And that's why I didn't like the Clement at bat. You get one pitch. Now, I appreciate him being ready to hit, but you can't swing at that. That wasn't a good pitch. That didn't even look like a good pitch from the jump out of his hand. That was an awful sequence for the Blue Jays. And what's been a great series. A great series. Give them a lot of credit. I give them a big chance tonight to win.
I cannot believe they're here. How late into the offseason they fired their manager. The Vladdy Jr. stuff where he was basically on his way to Boston packing his bags and they give him that late extension.
And I wouldn't mind. They've had some injuries too. Bichette's been in and out of the lineup. Springer got hurt the other night.
You're right. I just cannot. I couldn't believe they won the division. I couldn't believe they made the playoffs, let alone they're at this point. It would be great to see Toronto win a World Series. The partying that city would have, it would make it even better because that would just be another twist in the knife in the side of Austin Matthews. We could do it. Why can't you? You're one of the best players in the league. But it goes back to the point you're making about Barger. You over-communicate in that moment. It's really simple. That's what makes that misplay mind-numbing. You over-communicate. Springer on deck. You have to be 100%. Sure thing, you leave early. If not, wait. That's all you got to say to him. And he goes, okay, cool. You don't have an ego as I'm a major league player. I know what I'm doing. You look at him. Sure thing, leave early. If not, wait to see that hit the floor.
It just wasn't going to, even if it did land, were you going to score?
Where are you going?
It wasn't like a flare.
Because Kike could throw that the third
and they had to run very far in to
get
was
it. Right there.
He was right there. It was hit well. It was hit hard. Even if it lands, he's going to get it right away. He's going to have the ball. He just was not focused enough, and it cost him. And now we'll see what happens tonight. I can't wait for. I love Game 7. I love the Major League Baseball playoffs as a whole. But a Game 7 in the World Series, first one since 2019, is as good as it gets. Real quick, let's get David and Lowell on the Bruins. Hey, David.
Guys, I just want to finish up your last segment about the Bruins. And the beginning of the end. You remember after they won the Stanley Cup? What was that, in 2011?
Correct.
Yes.
Right. And then they made it to a couple more cups after that. They lost to Chicago. They lost to St. Louis.
Yep, 13,
but the
19.
beginning of the end is when they shipped Tyler Sagan out because he banged some executive's wife. And just think what the Bruins might have been if they would have kept him. He went to Dallas and, what did he get, 350, 400 goals for Dallas?
Okay. I don't know what the circumstances around his departure were, but he's not wrong, okay? And I hated that trade. I'll never forget. I was sitting by myself. I was working on July 4th, 2013 in the studio at WPRI 12 by myself, middle of the summer. And it's like, oh, that's an interesting update. They just traded friggin' Tyler Sagan. I hated it then. And if you follow the trail, George, for years it felt like they just continue to get worse and worse. I mean, Louis Eriksson was a step down. Then they traded Eriksson. I don't even remember who it was. Another step down. They just go worse and worse and worse. Now, I don't know if that was the beginning of the end. They certainly never won the cup again. They got back there. I think they've had rosters good enough to win. So it wasn't the beginning of the end necessarily, but they did get worse and worse and worse consistently after that deal. And yeah, that was something that just didn't work out in their favor. He went on to have a decent career in Dallas, and he was just so young. It's too bad they couldn't have worked with him a little bit longer to see if that could have panned out a little bit better.
I don't want to get into the Reddit trail, you'd say, of Tyler Seguin, right? You can do your own research and you can talk about it and say what you think is true or not. Seguin is unbelievable talent, was way too young to be in a city like Boston.
Okay.
When a trade like that goes down, that's not just coming from the front office. That's the players in that dressing room, too.
Yes.
Saying this kid is
100%.
not fitting in, partying way too much. You need someone to be an adult eventually. The one argument I give to that, and I understand the beginning, you could not make Tyler Seguin work. Where has Seguin worked? He scored a ton of goals.
Yeah.
Where has he won?
No, that's true.
He could get away and he could party. The Stars are fantastic, wherever he may be. And he'll still score all those goals. But, like, what does it translate to winning at that point?
Well,
and I won't say the beginning of the end is a Seguin trade because 2013, 2019, 2023, when they scored 135 points in the regular season and lost in the first round to the Panthers. At that point, Tyler Seguin is so far in the past. Now, again, what we get into, and my same thing when someone calls in, it's just they need a young scorer too to pop. The draft picks just aren't there. The draft picks that pull through and flourish are not there. And then what are you doing at the trade deadline? Let's go back a couple years ago when they get Pat Maroon, the big rig, and it works.
That's right.
Doesn't even work out.
Yeah.
Like it works bad back.
Who they have Rick Nash at one point, like guys like that. They never could find the formula. They
Again,
never could get there.
I actually a draft pick that I did like Trent Frederick. He's in Edmonton now. Great. But, like Trent Frederick was a good top 9 piece, one that you drafted. You can keep. Jake DeBrusk, you never got him to work. Now, it's partially on DeBrusk. Bruce Cassidy was too mean to me. Now, he's gone anyway, too. But it's those draft picks that work, you can't make them work.
Yeah, DeBrusk is a good example. Like, he never could quite become that consistent impact player. Had some flashes, went on some streaks. Yes, he just never was that guy consistently. And for a player of that caliber, he had some great speed. He just couldn't do it consistently. And that's what they need. 617-779-0985. More on the Bruins if you want. You can call. We can get back to the baseball, but we're going to talk some Patriots because there's a lot to get to. This win streak, this quarterback, what's up next, and the league. All of that. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for...
Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
To deep center field. Dean on the run. Just get there. It wedges in the bottom of the wall, and it's a dead ball. It's a dead ball. The umpire's hands are up, and the runners will head to second and third. It'll be second and third, nobody out.
Last night in the ninth inning, and I was just disappointed. I guess I'm more rooting for the Blue Jays. I was just disappointed that I didn't get to see the inning play out. Not that the Dodgers didn't earn their way out of that inning, but I wanted to see them actually, have to, I don't know, at least one run come in and really feel the heat. And it never got to that point, and that was a difficult thing. Of course, the ball gets wedged there. I would have loved to have seen it bounce, like just from a visuals, like a viewer perspective, bounce around and make them make a play back into the infield instead of putting your hands up. Like nobody wants to see that in that spot. That sucked.
If anything, it just does the simple like low bounce off the wall, eye up, center field catches it.
Make them continue playing baseball.
Right. That's the one part. I credit the smart baseball. Throw your hands up.
Sure.
But that should be a live ball if it's wedged in. Or it should be the requirement, to your point, is you got to make a play on it. And if it's stuck, runner returns to the closest base they were at. So if you're like just past second, you're not to third, get back to second.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, because you're either going to get it immediately, no problem, you throw it in, you keep it, or it's stuck, and they'll just go back to the bases. I just
play the sport.
I didn't like that, and that was very distasteful to see it unfold that way. So that was disappointing to me. It does give me a game 7 ultimately, which I'm interested in, obviously, and I can't wait to see how that unfolds. But that was just a moment that could have been an inning that could have been, and I was hoping to see, hey, maybe this is the next Joe Carter. Maybe this guy comes in and pops one, and he's the biggest legend we've seen, in years. If he hits a 3-run home run to win the World Series, Joe Carter, if I remember right, it was game 6, but wasn't it tied, or were they down? I don't remember.
Let me see.
I thought it was tied. So it's not like you were down 2 strikes, 2 outs, and all that. And the Phillies, no offense, they weren't the Dodgers with Shohei Ohtani that we're looking at right now. So that would have been even bigger, even more impressive of a moment, an all-time moment that, I didn't even get. I just wanted to see Springer bat. I just wanted to see. I couldn't believe it. I was so mad when he got thrown out. Not just because the Dodgers won. It wasn't even so much that. I just wanted Springer to bat. I wanted to see that at bat happen.
6-5 lead by Philly. Joe Carter walk-off 3-run shot in the ninth.
They were down.
6-5.
Wow.
Joe Carter 3-run shot in game 6.
It's pretty good, man. Other than game 7, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. But that, and what I think too, watching that play, especially there's a bird's eye view if you find it on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. The runner on third does the simple, like, a step and a half shuffle to his right and just returns to third calmly. Like, he read that play the right way the whole time. Barger's going. What are you doing?
Inexcusable.
And when that happens, and that's how you lose, mentally what it must do to that team, because you have to go back, you have to return tonight. Yamamoto was nails again.
Yep.
But you made it a game late. It was 3-1 at home. Now it's Shohei on the mound. You have a android. You have a predator. Like the movie Predator on the bump. Also, he'll probably hit 3 home runs tonight because that's what he does now. You have the guy, when he had his 10 strikeout, 3 home run performance, I was like, yeah. Like someone said, it's like, Ohtani, 10 Ks, 3 strikeouts. I'm like, he pitched. That's right. That was my reaction because that's what he does. That's the expectation of him. You have that guy starting game 7 most likely tonight. Like, you're screwed. I'd love to see Toronto win it. I really would.
I don't think they're screwed. I think they're a mentally tough group. They've shown the ability
to recover
bounce back.
from that.
No, I get it.
And Barger, who's a significant piece for them. That's the thing, too.
But again, they lost an 18-inning game. And they had chances to win that game. They could have, and they recovered from that. They won 2 of 3 in L.A.
I know.
Ohtani, the mystique of Ohtani is a factor. Don't get me wrong.
What's like the opposite of like the boogeyman? Like, the boogeyman is like he'll come and get you. Like Rafael Devers was the boogeyman for the Yankees.
Yeah.
But what is Ohtani? Just like the Terminator? But like there's nothing evil about Ohtani. He just is what he is. He's inevitable. It's not Thanos.
So good.
Even
He's
as
so
I
good.
put that.
He's not the fielder. He's not Ken Griffey Jr. in the field. But the way, I mean, if he pitches a gem tonight and wins the game,
and
forget about what he does offensively.
But you can't end it with pitching a gem because
I know.
he will. He
I know.
will
He'll contribute offensively.
No, you know what? Imagine he pitches a gem. To your point, Mark. Let's go 8 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 5 walks drawn.
Yeah.
Like that's what he could be.
People, I think of Jack Morris, Levon Hernandez, guys that weren't necessarily stars but made their name because of a banner performance in the World Series or in the postseason, whatever. I mean, that makes careers. This would just be another. I mean, it'd be in Game 7 if he can do it. The fact that he's front and center would worry me if I was Toronto. That would concern me just because it feels like good things obviously happen when he's around. Like, is Shohei Ohtani really going to choke tonight?
No.
I just don't see it happening. If you win, you're going to have to really earn it. I don't see him going out there and just not pitching well.
It doesn't happen to him. He, literally, whenever he's in the box and you watch him swing, just everything about him, he looks like he was built in a lab. His physique, his build, how big his shoulders
6'4".
are, how tall he is, how smooth the swing is too. But at the same time, it looks so perfect. You're like, that has to be a robot. And he does the same thing pitching, where he's going to throw 98 miles per hour down your throat, blow you by, or he'll go with the 89 mile per hour breaking ball to strike out the next batter. He does not make sense.
Last night, he was out on his front foot. I don't think he had a hit all night until this point. He was out on his front foot, one hand, ball goes into left center. I'm like, okay. All the way to the wall. Ends up at the bottom of the wall. It's a double. He looked awful swinging at that pitch, but he got the good part of the bat on it. He's got a ton of strength, even though it was with one hand, all the way to the fence for a double. I mean, just look, I don't think Toronto is dead tonight. I think they have a chance to win it. I don't think they're going to be affected by what happened last night. That sucks. Based on everything I've seen this team overcome, I feel like if they lose tonight, it won't be because of what happened last night. It might be because Ohtani's just too good. It might be because, hey, the bats went to whatever. I don't think it's because they're going to sulk into the game tonight after what happened. Because there's no guarantee they were going to win that game anyway.
Yeah.
Or that Springer was going to get the hit. It's just you hate the fact that he didn't at least get a chance. Does what this World Series offer, what it's offered, impact the Red Sox at all, in your opinion?
It has to, because you see a team like the Blue Jays that had the pieces come together, also within your division.
Yeah.
And if Toronto's making this run, and to me, it just showed how open the American League was. With how the Yankees, they dominated the Red Sox. It was all Sox. It was all Boston game 1. From that point on, it was the Yankees. With their pitching, their bats weren't that good, and we saw it in the next round. The Yankees were a highly flawed, very bad team. Schlittler had his massive moment, and then that point on, wasn't as good. That's a bad Yankees team. That's poorly managed. Aaron Boone on a silver platter, game after game, scenario after scenario to the Red Sox, and they couldn't close. Toronto, who's in the division, Toronto, who had low expectations coming in, they make it to the World Series. This impacts the Red Sox because you see the window in the American League right now. It is open. The NL is stacked. The American League is open. And before the Astros pick it back up, before the Yankees maybe get right, and Garrett Cole will be back, but the lineup's the lineup as it is all the time. Before those teams recover and get better, you have to attack now. While you have Garrett Cole healthy in his peak, they got to figure out Bayo to get it right second half of the season. Giolito, they have to figure out. This lineup, Alex Bregman, what's going to happen with him? Is Marcelo Meyer, can he be healthy a full season? There are a lot of question marks around the Sox, but this was a ahead of schedule season. Next year, Mark, has to be no messing around. We're going for the division crown because I don't want squeak in wild card. Because if you have a division-winning team in the AL East, that means you have a good team. As you can see, that's World Series caliber. It better light a fire.
More thoughts on that when we get back. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here, 617-779-0985, 98.5, The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. what game, it all happens here. 98.5.
Sorry, almonds. The only thing I was going to say, we're going to get into a real quick. We're turning back the clocks tonight. Just so you know,
Like
you're
on
aware. We're
Snap It.
trying to help you. Yeah.
We gain sleep.
Yeah.
We gain an
It's
hour.
an extra hour in the weekend.
Gets darker earlier, but we
Yeah.
gain an hour.
We're gonna get into some turn back the clock moments that, or maybe one for each of us that we really appreciated over the years or whatever. But just to finish that thought on the Red Sox, there's two ways of this. Number one, I look at the Dodgers. I look at the payroll. I look at the aggressiveness. Ohtani, Yamamoto.
Deferred money, too.
Right. That's right.
Which is an avenue.
Right. All the ways that they spend, that they consistently win, and throughout the minor leagues, and the way they value the fundamentals, something that the Red Sox have not been good at this last stretch of years, the last 2 years.
They develop, they don't overthink baseball. They spend a lot of money, they do deferred money, they get Shohei, they get all these guys, Glasnow, all that, but they develop too.
That's right. And they have since the days of Chris Taylor and Justin Turner and all these guys. I forget if Turner came up through the organization, but they've had guys that have come, Yasiel Puig.
Bellinger.
Yeah. They don't also, base running miscues night in and night out, errors that plague the Red Sox. So there's that. So the Dodgers, the spending, the aggressiveness, there's that avenue. And then there's the Blue Jays at the trade deadline, adding, getting Shane Bieber. Has he been a world beater for them? No. But he's 3-0 since they haven't lost since his starts, since the ALCS. He's 3-0. I mean, that's contributing on a team that's one win away from a World Series championship. They made moves. They were aggressive. They went out and did what they could to add a real addition. Those are the things the Red Sox need to, because if you look at both lineups, that's the other thing. Clearly better than the Red Sox. Were the Red Sox right there with the Blue Jays? Sure. The Blue Jays won the division. They were the better team. But it's not like they completely outclassed what the Red Sox are doing. But the lineup's better. The offense is better. You need to look at some of those things, and then you need to decide if you're actually trying to win. If you are, there you go. So,
kind of rhetorical question, kind of not, Mark. What is Vlad Jr. in a lineup? What does he bring?
Thump.
Power bat, clutch. You build your whole lineup around him.
He's a foundation.
What's George Springer?
He's a proven winner, number one, but he still has the thump and the dynamic ability that you want.
Yeah. Rafael Devers had the same thing.
No, don't get me
You
going.
show
Don't
urgency.
get George going on that.
Did that actually, both you guys, did it ruin your Father's Day?
Yeah.
I was at Father's Day dinner when that trade went down. Where were you? Here, you mentioned where you were the Tyler Seguin trade.
You know why it ruined my day?
Where were you the Rafael Devers trade?
I had just gotten home from doing a show. If I remember right, I was pissed because it was like an hour and a half after
the sweep.
I got home after the show.
After they swept the Yankees.
Yes.
And I have New York fans, much as yourself, George. Shout out to my uncle who still resides there in the Bronx. And he was, we go back and forth, cordial. I like to stay very humble. And he was, kind of down on the Yankees, obviously. And then once that trade happens, just like, what are you guys doing? And we were on like a heater as well. We were on like 6-game win streak, like 8 out of 10, something like that.
I'm just saying, if they had Devers, if they had Anthony, I know Anthony was hurt. That's
different story.
Anything's
right?
possible.
Yeah, game 2 was obviously we should have won, but game 3, I think Devers would have had a big impact against.
That's
Cam
a real
Shelton.
lineup. Devers, Bregman, Anthony. That's a real.
Fastball
Then
hitter.
all of a sudden, everybody else feels a little
Falls
more
in line.
capable.
Devil's advocate, Roman Anthony was fantastic. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. He's 21. You don't know what he'll do in the playoffs. Now, what we saw in the regular season, his debut, I think he'd pull through. But the fact that they had the urgency to trade away Rafael Devers on Father's Day and never followed through with anything else after that's the one thing. Like, the way they developed Roman Anthony, I feel like he's something that is so good you can't mess it up because the way they've developed the other prospects just hasn't pulled through. The way they lack of attacked the trade deadline. Because when you bring up Shane Bieber, has he been a world beater? No. Could he have pitched more than 28 pitches in game 2 of a wild card series? Probably. Because that's what Brian Bayo did. Mm-hmm. We always knew this rotation needed another arm in the top end of it. And they did not address that. So what this Blue Jays team should show them, what the lineup should show them, is you need that 3-4 hitter, that 2-3-4 hitter, wherever you want to slot them, and say we need that thump, we need that power bat, we need that feared batter. We need another one to supplant that. It could be a Roman Anthony to back him up. We need those anchors in the lineup. And we also, let's play smart baseball.
That's right. Those fundamentals can't be overlooked, especially when you're not the most talented team.
There were the reports coming out that there were people within the Red Sox organization of like, I'm out of here. Like, we're not teaching fundamentals in the minors.
Yeah.
Like, so we have guys coming up that just don't know the basics of baseball. Like, well, what's important here? But yeah, instead they want to teach spin rate, bat speed, exit velo, all this stuff. Like, they want to make it happen. Watch a computer. No, you have to go. Baseball is such a difficult sport because the same play may never happen twice. You need to go out and play baseball and drill it so when they get to the games, they know how to handle stuff. Or else, Barger stuff happens on the baseline.
So that's the Red Sox thought there. Let's get a quick headlines with George. No commercials when we get back. We'll talk about throwing it back, turn back the clock, couple performances. We'll get into the Patriots too.
I do think that there is a real chance that at the end of the season, we're looking back and we've won more games than we otherwise would have.
Nice.
From the Telfair Tire Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Bruins won 2-1 today against the Carolina Hurricanes. 3 wins in a row for the Bees. Victor Arvidsson and Casey Middlestat with the Bees goals. Jeremy Swayman, 28 saves, his first win since he let up 7 goals last time on the ice. Charlie McAvoy had 2 assists as well. As for the Patriots, they will be without starting running back Ramondre Stevenson versus the Atlanta Falcons, announced by head coach Mike Vrabel. Stevenson missed all of practice this week with the toe injury. That leaves rookie running back, former day 2 pick Travion Henderson, and second-year undrafted free agent Terrell Jennings as the only running backs on the roster. Michael Penix, Drake London, a go for Atlanta. Kickoff tomorrow at 1 p.m. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper with pregame coverage right here on the Sports Hub. Bob Sosi and Scott Zolak will have the call. And the Celtics looking to make it 4 straight wins tonight as they host the Rockets for a second half of a back-to-back after the win against the Sixers last night. Payne Pritchard, Derek White, both probable to play. Tip-off at 8 p.m. You can catch Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell with the call right here on 98.5. And these Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99. Head to the Nines for game day this Sunday. Score 6-pack of bone-in wings for just $5.99 and full-size apps for just $6.99. You gotta love the Nines. I'm George Balekji for 98.5 Sports Hub. Your next update in 1 hour.
To us, Boston pride runs deep. I'm a Bostonian! This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston sports, yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Mark Dondero, George Balekji taking you up to Celtics basketball, hosting the Rockets tonight. Ime.
Back in Boston.
Yep. We'll see what happens here. Celtics on a nice little run. We can get to that a little closer to game time. We're turning back the clocks tonight, and as in honor of that, we were going to talk a little bit about any turn back the clock performances, George, that stick out in your mind, anything that's near and dear to your heart in terms of a guy that might have been washed or it might have been nostalgic for you that turned back the clock and got it done in a big way, even in one game. Anything come to mind?
I just think of the postseason run Roger Clemens had in 2005. He was like 42, 43 at the time, and just a grown-ass dude still throwing smoke. Had to bounce back too. And I think his ERA might have been sub-3 that season as well. He's 05 or 06. I just remember watching Roger Clemens, like seeing him in a playoff game. I'm like, wait, he could still do this? Mm-hmm. Like he could still strike out major league lineups in the postseason, doing that with Houston Astros. So I think I've turned back the clock.
One that jumps out at me, not that I'm emotionally invested. Do you remember, didn't Derrick Rose have like a random 50-point game at the end of his career? He had been through the ringer with injuries. He was not nearly the player he once was. He was washed. But I think in a game against when he was on the Timberwolves, he just randomly dropped 50 points. And it was I just thought that was, for everything he's been through, for everything he had been
I love
through.
it.
And it was just a cool moment. for a guy that was a really good player for a long time. To see that was a cool. And my favorite, and this is more of just a moment, not a whole sequence or a game. I'm a sucker because this was my guy. The Paul Pierce 3-pointer when he was on the Clippers in the Garden at his last shot ever in the Garden when he hit it. You don't remember that?
Was that the I called bank?
No
shot.
No. This is just he was on the Clippers. It was a meaningless shot, but he had the ball. It was the end of the game. Everybody kind of cheering. They wanted him to shoot. The game was over, and he just jacked it up, and it went down. And then he walked off the court waving to the fan. Like I thought that was a cool moment from somebody that was the ultimate. Like I was a huge Pierce guy. For a throwback the clock, that was one. Here's another one. This isn't.
It was that was like a charity moment. I remember that moment. Like it was charity. Like Celtics up big, crowds chanting.
Yeah.
LA called sub him back in. 10 seconds left. Meaningless three. No, it's still cool.
Shot.
Still cool.
Here's another random one. I don't know if he was washed at this. I don't think he was necessarily washed. Do you remember in 2005? I think it was the spring of 2005. The Celtics randomly re-signed or traded or whatever. They got back Antoine Walker, and for a month or so, they just couldn't lose, and it was awesome. Like the run they went on when they reacquired Antoine Walker. I'd have to look it up, but they won. They went on a ridiculous streak of wins when they weren't that good. This is 2004, 2005.
Yeah, he wore 88 for a while too. I remember before he converted it over Al Jefferson to 7.
But I just remember that being totally random. Antoine Walker's back, and there the Celtics go on a streak of wins. That was at the time you hadn't seen much of that recently from the Celtics. So that was a fun one for me.
That's like the Shaq is back call when he was with the Celtics. When he got signed, he had like some transition bucket.
I was waiting for him to come back forever in that season.
He's like, Shaq is back! And then a minute later, he leaves the game injured.
So from February 25th, 2005 through March 19th, they were ridiculous. So they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They were 11-1 for the 12 games between February 25th and March 19th, 2005. 11-1 with Antoine Walker back in the. I just enjoyed the run. It meant nothing. They ended up going nowhere.
Everyone remembers those 05 Celtics.
That was fun.
And Antoine Walker. What month was it? What month of the
February
season?
25th.
February 20th. Sorry,
19th.
I zoned out on the date. Everyone remembers that late February into March run by the 2005 Celtics.
They do DVDs on that.
What did they end up?
Documentaries.
What was the result of that season? Did they
Antoine for the game. Got it.
First round playoff loss to the Pacers.
Oh yeah. I remember that series.
Went 7.
They took Indiana to 7.
They lost by 27 in Game 7. Yeah. So,
but that's.
But they were bad. I mean,
and it's Antoine Walker and the Walker wiggle coming back. Like I get it.
But that was a throwback the clock scenario for me.
And it was a fun few weeks. It was a fun month.
I'm trying to think.
What else are you doing in late February in Boston?
Right,
New England, freezing your ass off, watching the Celtics, and they made it fun.
Remember, I was playing baseball at the time. We were on the road, and I kept checking. Like you just kind of like see the score. Jeez, they won again. Like they won again. Like,
What's Walker doing?
They won. I mean, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. They had 5 in a row, then 7 in a row, whatever it was. 4 in a row, 7 in a row. Like 7 in a row is legit.
People's champ. You got any?
Yeah, I kind of struggled. I presented this topic because I like to get cutesy around the calendar, and I know where
cutesy.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm one of those for this time of year. I either push back the clock forward or in reverse the day before. So right now I'm on 4 o'clock time to be sure. I've ruined the clocks at home. I do that.
You're sicko.
I know. I do it for my mother and stuff like that. I still do that. So I'll make sure.
So you get a day ahead of the world.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm already rested up and going accordingly to what the time is and what it will be for tomorrow and forward. So. I did struggle with it a little bit. I had like Tim Wakefield and Tom Brady in mind, where you have like mid-30s and into their 40s. But they obviously just like exuded excellence. I didn't really think of them as either overly old and they kicking the cobwebs and I'm coming out of the grave with this performance. So I did a little research and I landed on Brett Favre. Brett Favre, Week 3, 2009, when he turned into a Viking. after that stretch there with the Jets, he was kind of written off. And week 3, he had an excellent performance with a game winner.
He looked terrible for the Jets, and then that Viking season was just
he
pure
was awesome.
bliss.
That season was awesome. That was such a fun season.
So I think of Favre, and I hold him to high regard. And so I think of the Monday nighter when his father had passed too.
Yeah, that was an epic
he's
performance.
stones. So that's one that stands out where it's like, there's the old man. He still got it. To think that he was 39 for that game. So God bless Brady. He's kind of just shattered the mold and rewritten history.
But Brady did it so well for so long, and he never aged in front of our eyes that we forget how old he was when he won that Super Bowl with Tampa. Like, didn't work in New England, all of that, unraveled
never
at the
fell
end.
off, to be fair, right?
He never did. He was just like, I'm good. I'm done with the process.
Mr. Consistency always.
Yeah, he was like, I'm done with the process. I'm good. I've won more than anybody. I'm good.
Yeah,
that was it. But like he gets to Tampa, which was doing nothing special, nothing quick, and won a Super Bowl for a city that never does, unless you go back to what was that, like when they won 02?
To change it from
2002 season, Tampa
That's when
won.
Tampa won, right? Like otherwise they're not doing anything.
Well, let me tell you my favorite throwback moment.
I have another one after. Go.
Okay, and this doesn't necessarily qualify, but I don't care. I'm putting it on there. My favorite one where you turn back the clock, 2001 AFC Championship game, baby. Drew Bledsoe.
And we would have won the Super Bowl with them. I am not taking any. Don't at me, please.
Okay. Well, that's your take. That's fine. I don't know about that one. I have to think about that more. But when he came in,
that's your take.
When he came in and threw, I mean, I know it hadn't even been that long, but so much happened. The injury, all the things that had transpired throughout the course of that season.
And Brady was not doing good in that game.
When he came back, that was sort of like a throw. And I felt like for years he'd been bad. He was bad in 2000. They weren't good.
5 and 11
the fact that he came back in and was productive immediately.
It meant the world.
That was like a throw. That was like a turn back the clock moment, and really, that's what it felt like. And I just love that when that happened.
That's a good example.
We're witnessing one right now.
Yeah.
Throwing Cincinnati Bagels and Joe Flacco. He's 40 years old.
Yeah, sure.
Matt, amazing what you do when you have elite playmakers.
Yeah.
Plural. For any quarterback. And you got someone competent enough that Joe Flacco knows, hey, this is fun. How do I keep doing this on Sundays? Oh. Jamar Chase. Oh. T. Higgins. You guys let me know where you're going to be, and I'm just going to throw the ball. That's it.
Not
beat
wrong.
at the catch point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to overthink football. Who are man beaters? Who wins at the point of attack? Let's get those receivers. What do the Patriots have? Keyshawn Booty's been amazing.
Yeah.
What else? Don't got Ramondre Stevenson.
Can we get a turn back the clock's performance tonight from Max Scherzer? I tell you what is frustrating though. He was signed as a free agent via the offseason to Toronto. Once again, tying it back to the Red Sox. Go ahead and push the ship to the table. Let's get some arms. Let's replace Bregman. With Devers, we still didn't replace. Let's get some bats out there. This is a very big offseason for the Red Sox. To start it back into performances, gutsiest, I would say, Game 6, ALCS, 04. Kurt Schilling for sure.
That would be. I mean, Scherzer's the perfect guy for them to do
Right, he's
this.
kind of over the hill.
Yes. Okay.
But they get Crochet. I mean, they get Garrett Crochet.
The ace was a big deal, but you got to do more than just that. You have to do more.
And did Bayo and Giolito work? Yes, until the end. I'm still saying that's why I can't get too upset with the Scherzer because they get Garrett Cole. But yes, let's see what Tolley becomes.
Yeah,
Connerly early. That's the one where I will go on the other end of I'm down to hold the accountability of front offices. I'm down for that more than anybody, but I'm not going to get pissed over not signing Max Scherzer. We'll see.
No. But just somebody like that. So,
Yes.
that's a Nathan Eovaldi type of thing that they just they couldn't do. All right, let's go to Matt in Rhode Island. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mark. Hey, guys. What's up? First, I just want to comment on you've been on a couple year-long take about the Celtics at the end of games. You just brought up Paul Pierce, there's no one better at the end of games than Paul Pierce. He hit some huge shots. Wasn't ever afraid to get the ball, and everyone knew where the ball was going. So I just wanted to comment on that real quick. But as tomorrow, last week, obviously NFL week-to-week basis, but Miami and Atlanta last week, Atlanta couldn't stop Miami from doing anything on offense, and Miami, which is the last ranked rushing defense, shut them down. They did have Kirk Cousins, and Penix is going tomorrow, but just keep in mind that I think the NFL is on the Penix right now. For some reason, he cannot throw to the middle of the field. His throw charts are all outs and checkdowns. He does not throw to the middle of the field. That's not going to work. Thanks.
Thanks, man. How are the Falcons going to beat the Patriots? That'd be my question.
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson is that you have to keep May off the field, and he has to not just keep him off the field, but you've got to dominate. You've got to score touchdowns. I mean, that's the only way they're going to. I mean, I get it. The Falcons, the NFL, they look good, they look bad, they crush the Bills, they lose to the Dolphins. Like, who knows? You've got to keep Drake May off the field. He's too good. He's legitimately an MVP guy. You got to keep him off the field, and you got to score. And then you got to hope that there's a mistake in there that you can take advantage of. Other than that, I don't see how Atlanta comes in and outguns what May's doing.
I don't know if they outgun May, but this is an offense. But this is an offense in Atlanta that can put up 30 points. So let's see in a shootout like they had with the Bills. Let's see how they do. But this is not Spencer Rattler and the Saints. It's definitely not Cam Ward and the Titans. It's not Dylan freaking Gabriel and the Browns. Like, this is a real offense where weird game this past Sunday. Patriots were in command the whole time. Yes, Myles Garrett was a game wrecker. I had 5 sacks, all that. But the game was in hand, and Drake May was fantastic. The cornerbacks for the Falcons, A.J. Terrell, nothing special. The back end of the defense, Xavier Watts, he might be out in this game. Nothing crazy there. Good pass rush. They're okay. Good call by the caller. Michael Penix does not throw over the middle of the field. He's a guy, though, at the same time, his play, because he has a big arm, he has no problem with the check down because it's a Bijan Robinson. We need to see this team tackle in space. Christian Gonzalez match up with Drake London. I'm intrigued. Can they cover Bijan? Can they cover Kyle Pitts? Still trying to figure out how to use them, but like there are weapons on this. The same way going into that Browns game, maybe I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. Maybe it's just too good. Going into the Browns game, like, this will be interesting. That's a great defense. It's a good defense led by Jeff Ulbrich and the Falcons. That's an offense that can score. They can have the answer. They can put the pressure on. Let's see this defense get tested, especially on the back end, man. Like, they're traded away Keon White. They traded away Kyle Duggar. Fine, those guys weren't playing, not a culture fit. This is a thin defense on the back end. And for a mismatch, who is covering Bijan? Because Robert Spillane will be getting cooked by Bijan if he has to cover him.
I just, it's nice to talk like that. I just don't see it. I don't.
But trying to poke holes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying. I'm trying right now.
They've got to slow down Drake May. Is the defense impenetrable? Absolutely not. They have their flaws, but I mean, they've played nice complementary football. We'll get more into it. I just don't know how you slow them down enough to get to the point where you're in position to win at the end. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's home. this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
The MVP of the NFL right now is Drake May. When it comes to the value that you are providing, giving, just back to last year, given what's around you.
What'd it take?
Okay, so Drake May, one, Steph's coming off an ACL. So, two, Keyshawn Booty's their number 2 receiver. He wasn't this highly drafted wide receiver.
True.
He's got 2 tight ends that are certainly longer in their careers than they are younger. Drake May's playing quarterback just about as good as anybody, with the least amount of help around him. When it comes to just talent, that's not a knock on those catches, keeping it real.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Mark Dondero George Balekji. Let's go back to the phones. Gordon's in New Hampshire with a throwback, a turn back the clock moment. Hey, Gordon.
Hey, guys. Thank you very much for being on the air right now. I just want to go with tie into the Atlanta Falcons this weekend. Go back to Super Bowl 33. Mr. John Elway.
It's a good one. John Elway.
How old was he? What was the performance?
The problem is,
So the performance
which one was that? Who did
great.
play in that one?
So 33 was the Falcons. 32 was the Packers.
Right.
32 was the Packers, where he was absolutely atrocious with throwing the interception. No,
it was a Terrell Davis game. Yeah,
that was all Terrell Davis. 33, he was more aggressive. He got a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but he ran that one touchdown in too.
Okay, that's a good one. Thanks for the call, Gordon. I'm too young to remember his, I don't know what you want to call it, like his prime, the regular years before he had to turn back the clock.
38 years old in 1998.
38 years old, right. He was always a good player. Those Broncos teams were just really good. I remember the year I feared them. The year the Patriots went to the Super Bowl, they were a wagon that year and ended up getting upset by the Jaguars in the playoffs, which was a huge, like, you're too young to pray. Like, I was just old enough to
was this which Super Bowl appearance?
96.
Okay.
96.
Okay.
They were the Broncos were the class all year long of the AFC. They were the number one. It wasn't even close. They stubbed their toe against the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tom Coughlin. Maybe almost as big of an upset as when he did it almost a decade, 12 years later. Yeah. But that was and then that meant that the Patriots were then going to host the AFC Championship game. It was wild that they were able to, the whole thing. But my point is, the Broncos were awesome that year, and then they won 2 straight Super Bowls. So they would have had a chance to win 3 straight Super Bowls.
Juggernauts on offense, right? Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey, Shannon Sharp. I was scared to death.
They had good line, good defense.
Line.
That team was disgusting. Yep. And the Patriots dodged a bullet there. That's how they got to that Super Bowl, because they were not going to Denver. As good as that team was, they were not going to go to Denver and beat that Broncos team.
They were so stacked. So on the other side of the ball, too, Romanowski, Neil Smith, Steve Atwater.
Just jeez.
Juggernauts.
And Parcells ended up having to deal with them later when he was the Jets coach. Remember, they lost the AFC Championship game in Denver in '99 or whatever it was.
Parcells made miracles happen, though.
He was
the Jets.
an unbelievable coach.
Ray Lucas,
miracles,
like Glenn Foley.
Well, his biggest problem, like, I don't know if people know this, but the Gary Myers book, Peyton Manning was right there for him. All he had to do was, if you read the book, all he had to do was kind of give a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Archie in '97 that they would have drafted Peyton 1 overall when the Jets had the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
He would not. Parcells would not do it. He would not give Archie that satisfaction. So Peyton was like, all right, I'll go back to Tennessee. So he went back. It's all outlined in the book. It's fast. This is one of the most, in my opinion, and I've said it here before, it's one of the most under-discussed things in the what if. It's one of the biggest what ifs in sports history. They just drafted Keyshawn in '96. You would have had Manning and Keyshawn and Parcells. Can you imagine what the Jets would have become with those guys? I mean, it's so under-discussed. I have it. I've tweeted about it, and I've actually tweeted a picture of the excerpt where Myers goes into it, where he says all Archie was looking for was sort of a little bit of a heads up that they were going to take. It wasn't anything official.
Hey, just let me know. I'd like him to play for you.
Yes.
If you're not going to take him one,
I want him to go one.
We'll have him go back
if he gets back. If he's coming out, and he just would not under the table confirm it. And he went back, and then they, I think, traded out of the pick or whatever, and
You're
they
spot on. Orlando Pace to the Rams.
They never had the quarterback, and who knows what Bill Parcells? He could have been Belichick and Brady. It could have been that, or they could have gone back and forth. And I mean, he might still be coaching. Who knows? He would probably not, but he could have coached 20 years with Peyton Manning. 20 more years.
That's what that would be. That trajectory.
Yeah,
that's what we're witnessing right now in New England. Mike Vrabel has his next 15 years mapped out.
That's right. Like, get the kids comfortable.
Hopefully,
the kids are older.
Hopefully Josh McDaniels has his next 5.
Should. Yeah.
He should, but there's going to be a team dumb enough to come along and say, be a head
Being
coach.
a coach.
Someone's
Come
going
on.
to be dumb enough.
So stupid. Juan is in Salisbury. Hey, Juan.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Juan?
So, throwback player. I don't know if you guys mentioned it already, but back in, I believe it was New Year's Eve in 2001, Michael Jordan with the Wizards dropped 51 points, had like 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 or 4 steals, too. It was just a classic Jordan game. I remember watching it live. I was like, 12 or something like that. It was crazy.
Great call, Juan. Thanks for that's got to be mentioned. So you can pick your poison for Jordan moments. I'm a big, Jordan aficionado. Yeah. I'll say this: I love the Wizards, Jordan. Okay,
Underrated as well.
Underrated. He had some great moments defensively. Obviously, he was a defensive player of the year. He was a tenacious defender. To this day, I will say his best block of his career came on the Wizards. Do you remember this block on Ron Mercer? They were playing the Bulls. I think the game was in Washington. Go look it up, the Jordan block on Ron Mercer where he pins it to the backboard.
Grabs it.
It was the best block, one of the best blocks to that moment I'd ever seen. I know LeBron's had some great ones. This was as good of a chase down block as you'll ever see. That what Juan talked about, the 2003 All-Star game when he hit the shot on whoever it was, Kobe. The fadeaway that would have been the game winner, but then Garnett, I think, hit it to send it to overtime. All of those, the Jordan Wizards moments has to be on the list for if you're talking about turning back the clock because he was still a productive player.
Didn't Kobe drop 60
at the end of his career?
Last game of his
81,
career?
Was it 80? Or no,
No. 81 was when he lit up Jalen Rose. What was he, like 37 years old?
That's a good one.
Last game of his career, dropped like 60 plus.
Yeah.
Legendary. A
Yeah.
meaningless game.
That's what those types of people do, though.
Oh, yeah. He probably shot the ball 45 times, but I don't care.
Yeah, that's
60 points, 50 shots.
That's one of my favorite. That's if you go back
101-96 win over Utah to end the season.
That's right, Utah. That's right. If you look at my YouTube search history, that Jordan block is high
To
up.
Mercer. Mercer on the run.
Yeah, it was so good.
Defensive play, a two-hand block, steal, game, set, magic. Watch this. Here comes Mercer on in. Michael not there, but there he is.
I mean, just the fact to hear the audio annoys me because it was such a good visual. You got to see it was so good. So that was a throwback moment there. Jordan has them. I don't know if Brady does because there was never a drop off.
He was old at the end.
He was old, but there was never really a drop off where he threw it back. He was always good. There was nothing to throw it back to. He was always good.
Yes. Oh, like just till the end. Always excellent. I got a little more on the Kobe.
Yeah.
60 points in his final game as a pro, 37 years old. Meaningless win over the Jazz. He played 42 minutes that night. He never played more than 33 minutes the entire season. Oh, he played 35 minutes back in December. Just a hilarious way to go out.
Yeah.
Kobe, shoot.
Yeah.
50 shots, 42 minutes, 37 years old, all these injuries. He never recovered because he was old. And he always rehabbed and returned. At the end, he was like, I'm just done.
Yeah.
It was his Achilles and his shoulders. Like, I'm done. I'm done with this, whatever. It was his knee. 60 points, just home two.
Yeah.
Last game of the Staples Center.
I don't even care how many shots he took.
He could have taken 70. I was going to joke. He probably scored 64 points on 64 shots. Yeah, no one cared. It was Kobe. That's what you want to see. Go out chucking it.
You know who I was, from another perspective, you know who I was starving for a throwback the clock moment from that I never got? I was starving. I wanted it so bad.
Who?
Jaromir Jagr in 2013.
Did not score enough that I
was
remember
desperate.
at all.
Just give me any. He could not put the puck in the net. I know he was like 51 years old, but I mean, I was pining and begging for anything, just one game, one throwback moment from Jagr in 2013. And they might have been a champion that year, and it just never happened. They couldn't do it. Oh, Yager. I love the Yager era in the Bruins history.
Does Ovechkin count last season? He was still he's still like a 30-plus goal scorer, so I guess not.
Right. It's just like Brady. He's never really been
all
off the
Ovechkin's
reservation.
done is he's like, I'm just going to hang out on this dot and launch missiles.
Yeah.
I'm going to still be like a minus 25 player. But I'm just going to be
legend.
here.
It's tough for the legends because they're legends. They're always good.
Like true till the end for Ovi.
I mean, the only reason Jordan applies is because he was out. He was on a different team. He came back. Like, that's why it's a throwback the clock or whatever. Turn back the clock. So, all right, you can chime in with yours, 617-779-0985. More on the Patriots, more on what they could do at the trade deadline, the team, their expectations now, how they've continued to evolve, and Drake May, obviously. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here at 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5, the Sports Hub. Boston Sports, we're fans just like you. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Why the hell not? You've got Drake May, MVP level, third in MVP odds right now in FanDuel Sportsbook, by the way, top 5 defense, okay? A schedule that really does sort of give you the warm insides. Like, it's like, oh, I can hug this schedule. You have an inside track to winning the AFC East. Go all out.
All right, that was Kay Adams. I appreciate her sentiment there. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to believe that that's something that, a way of thinking that the Patriots are subscribing to, I just can't buy it. It's nice.
You don't think they're going to buy?
I mean, no. I do think they'll buy. But is it going to be this explosive, big, game-changing move that makes everybody go, whoa? I don't think so. I hear what Kay Adams is saying. I agree with that mindset. I just don't think that's how this team, this organization, it just never works out that way. They're not going to go out and get Trey Hendrickson. They're not going to go out and get A.J. Brown. They're going to get somebody that's underwhelming. I'm not saying they won't make an impact, but they'll get a complimentary piece. They'll do that. And I'm not saying offensively.
Chigo Okonkwo from the Titans.
I don't know if they need any more
Braxton Jones.
Yeah.
They need a wide receiver one. I think,
but
now,
I don't know if now's the time
Vrabel
to
likes
do that.
his draft picks.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not going to give up a first or a second. And I don't know, say if, like, I'm watching Thursday Night Football and I'm watching Jalen Waddle. Now, it's within the division.
Yeah.
So you'd have to pay a heftier price. But a Jalen Waddle-esque type deal to get a true wide receiver one, and for a player like Waddle, who I love because he's a good deep ball threat. At just 5'10", he's a good downfield receiver, but he could play underneath and kill teams over the middle, short to intermediate, and that would open up for Kayshon Boutte. They need to trade for a weapon for Drake May. They can't keep resorting to the draft because right now, as we'll see tomorrow, what does Travion Henderson look like? Mm-hmm. Because that's a guy we know the flash was, we know what preseason was. End of the day, that's preseason. What's a regular season? He's not getting touches consistently. He's not getting playing time. And when he is getting carries, he's running right into tacklers. His vision isn't there. Kyle Williams, he has just not been a contributor. He's been a net zero. Hasn't been a negative. He's not Jalen Polk, but he hasn't been anything positive. They cannot continue to rely on their draft right now.
I think Kyle Williams has been kind of a negative. I mean, he has
and that's
done
fair.
Crap.
That's I can't argue for him.
Yeah.
Now, because of Kayshon Boutte and Stephon Diggs and Pop Douglas, that's why I think he's a zero.
Like maybe you could argue he just hasn't had enough opportunities.
He's not on the field,
on the
so he's
field,
not hurting
he just
him.
couldn't produce.
Yeah.
But eventually you got to get on the field, and if you're that good, you get on the field.
Especially with everything that was spoken about him too, where they drafted him, where they selected him, all the hype and the excitement. But you have 3 years left of not paying Drake May after this season.
Yep.
You have 3 years left. The AFC right now is open. It is. Like, who's going to take it? I don't know. I don't believe in the Bills and their defense. The Colts with Daniel Jones, when the lights get bright, let's see how exactly. It could be Darnold with the Vikings.
Chiefs are still around.
I think it ends up being the Chiefs. But okay.
I would love to see Buffalo beat them tomorrow. I don't root for the Chiefs. I don't care if it helps the Patriots. I can't do it. I'm looking bigger picture.
My thing is that they have to get a weapon for him outside of Kayshon Boutte because Stephon Diggs, nice piece. He could opt out after the season.
Okay.
Pop Douglas is all right, just not there. Boutte is good. You need to give Drake May help. And I think you should swing big and get a proven commodity. And guess what? If it costs a third-round pick, I'm fine with it. Because if you get someone, guarantee you, if you get someone that's an impact player, you're not going to find someone better in the third round of this upcoming draft.
I wouldn't do it.
Why?
I would not do it.
You want to keep drafting. You want to build the team through the draft.
Who are you getting?
Yes, fair.
Like, if you're going to get A.J. Brown and say, Mark, we can get A.J. Brown, I would do that, okay? Because he's bona fide the best receiver you would have.
Yeah.
I am not in any way, shape, or form interested in Chris Olave. No.
Why?
Because
concussions?
I just don't think he's good enough to take the risk to disrupt what you've got going on. I like what they've got going on. They can throw the ball. Mm-hmm. The quarterback is making it work. And I just don't think, unless it's a bona fide number one, indisputable, I don't want to mess with it, George. I like the makeup of this offense and this receiver room right now, it's working, and I don't want to mess it up.
The beautiful connection you see between Drake May and Kayshon Boutte, it'd be better with Chris Olave.
How do I know
he's
that?
a bona fide number one. He's just been stuck on crap Saints teams and crap quarterback situation. That's a guy that's a good deep ball receiver, can elevate and catch a ball at the catch point.
Okay.
And I don't think he'd be as expensive in draft assets. A.J. Brown, that's a first-round pick. And I'll be fine with that because, Mark, the track they're on right now, this is a team that's going to be picking 25th or later, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to make the playoffs. I would give away the 25th overall pick for A.J. Brown. I'd give away the 20th overall pick for A.J. Brown. I'd give away the 18th pick. I would. He's already paid. You have the cap space. He's not yet 30, and it would work out. He'd be a great weapon. I would give up a second-round pick for Chris Olave. To your point, though, it depends. Who do you get in return? And I would part with my draft assets to get a proven commodity. That I'll be paying. You have to pay Olave. You have to pay A.J. Brown before I pay Drake May.
But it's working. Their offense is working.
Against the Titans.
Against the
Saints.
It worked against Buffalo. I mean,
Buffalo's defense isn't that good.
What defense? The Browns. It worked.
Yeah, good defense.
I'm just saying, I want to add. I want to add elsewhere.
It's working, so you don't want to make it any better. It's not at its full potential, but you don't want to.
Well, again, I would go for it. I would get it. I would take A.J. Brown. So it's not like I'm not interested in doing that. But I don't want to get another B player, B+ player. I don't think I want to risk disrupting that for a B+. They have a bunch of B+ guys, or B+ to B- guys, whatever. If it's a bona fide, indisputable number one, yes, I would do that. And I'd probably give up a 1, and that's a separate conversation. We can get into that, and we will have to get into that after the break. I would do that. I'm not interested in improving.
I like this.
But I just would not give up a 2 for a guy that might produce better than Boutte, but might not. Or might be better than Diggs, but might not be based on what we saw in Buffalo and against Carolina. I'm not doing that. A.J. Brown, clearly the best. If they can get him, I'd do it. Sure, bring him in. You got, you. Why not give May a true elite weapon and see what happens? Do I love his locker room to be whatever? We'll see. But give him that weapon and see what happens. I would do it. Other than that, I'm going defense. I'm going defense, in particular linebacker or safety. That's what I would want. I'd want a linebacker or somebody that could help in coverage. That's what I would want.
Sounds like Kyle Duggar could do either or. Better as a linebacker.
Well,
traded him away.
Yeah.
Could have made him work.
Well, they just seem completely disinterested in him. So, all right.
And he had to be disinterested in them for whatever reason.
Let's get Ricky quick in Plymouth on a turn back the clock. Hey, Ricky.
So my turn the clock back athlete, and Celtics Nation is not going to like this one.
Yep.
1985, after the Memorial Day Massacre, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar absolutely took over the rest of that series.
Yeah.
Still the oldest player to win Finals MVP. They had no answer for Kareem. Absolutely no answer for him.
Well, that's okay.
That was like game 1. He laid a goose egg. Was just a non-factor. I think the next game he had like a 30, 12, and 7 line, and then to his point went on to win finals.
There you go. That's a good one. The one we didn't like, but that was a good one. All right, when we get back more on this, I want to bring up you mentioned the draft. We got to touch on that and other things about the Patriots. This matchup too is on the table with the Falcons. How do they beat them? I love that we're asking that. I love that that's the dilemma now. How do you beat the Patriots?
Yeah.
This is great. All right, we'll be back. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98. The Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Any updates on who may or may not be available?
Ramondre will be out for this week. Everybody else does not have a designation.
Is his from the game or practice?
Yeah, Ramondre will be
7790985. Do we know when Ramondre Stevenson got hurt, George?
No one knows.
Okay.
Missed all of practice all week. Played well on Sunday. Pops up with that toe
was
injury.
he at practice this week? You said he was at practice?
He missed all the
so
practice.
It must have been something that came out of the game that nobody was discussing.
Right.
Okay.
And that's Vrabel confirming it. It will be interesting. Against the Titans, had his best day, but that's the Titans. Their run defense stinks. The Browns is a lot better. We saw what Myles Garrett was doing on the line of scrimmage. It's just going to be interesting because when he holds on to the ball, he's fine. He's good. He's good.
Right. That's right.
I would take him as my first, second, and third down back.
Correct.
In certain scenarios. But now it's Travion Henderson, who could not consistently see the field, and Terrell Jennings, who's been all right, behind an offensive line that just has not had consistency up front run blocking. Terrell Jennings, a second-year player, undrafted free agent, and he's an undrafted free agent, and you may have not heard of him until now for a reason. Not saying he's terrible. He's a fine third running back, but he's nothing great. And the run game and play action is really important for this offense and Drake May, Mark.
I mean, look, was it fair? No, probably. I mean, I thought, based on how people were talking about Travion Henderson, you felt like the ceiling was LaDainian Tomlinson and the floor was James White. Not fair.
But that's how he was
But that's how he was being hyped.
No, you're right.
I mean, somebody told me, I think it was it? I forget who it was. But they told me that it was a Patriots reporter told me that this could be the best offensive draft pick since Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the type of
That's
things
what's
that
been
were
said.
being said. Yeah. Evan Lazar. That's who said it.
Yeah.
So, it just hasn't materialized that way. I'm not out on him. This isn't Jalen Polk. It was a nice. I'm actually
rookie.
a little bit excited.
Yes.
If he's the featured back tomorrow, how it goes against the defense that I think could be a little bit productive. They're going to be ornery based on how they played last week. I'm not going to say their season's slipping away, but they haven't been as good as I thought 2 weeks ago. They were going into a game against the banged-up San Francisco 49ers team and then had the Dolphins at home. I thought Atlanta was going to come here like 5 or 6-1 or something, and this was going to be a big-time matchup. It hasn't worked out that way, but you got to feel like they still think that they have a season and that they're going to play inspired, I would think.
This is an Atlanta team that's like a bottom 7 run defense, too. Their strength is in their pass rush, especially with their 2 rookies, James Pierce and Jalen Walker. But to defend the run, and this is what you would want something to get Travion Henderson going. This is, again, when you look at Josh McDaniels and why he was brought in, why Thomas Brown was brought in, why those guys are now here. It doesn't have to be a Travion Henderson game. It could just be a figure out how to get the ball in his hands. And it could be short passes by Drake May that are basically extended run plays. It could be Terrell Jennings early downs, then Travion Henderson in certain scenarios. Just there has to be some sort of take the pressure off Drake May. It doesn't have to be all him because he is fantastic. When he's hitting the ceiling, it is the best thing we're seeing in all of football. But he simply is a year 2 quarterback that needs support around him in some facet. And you need to have some semblance of a run game, some form of that threat, especially with, we could talk about, okay, how can the Falcons make this a game? The Falcons can make this a game by shutting down the run and put it all on Drake May, make it one-dimensional, and let the strength of the defense, a pass rush, take over. That's what it can be.
I guess. I mean, good luck.
And it's looking at Josh McDaniels. Okay, he hasn't been working out. You're making a lot of money. I don't know if the Patriots are paying him, but you're making a lot of money, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Go make the rookie work. Go make Terrell Jennings work. Go do it. And he's done it before.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen who's that running back now for the Patriots? 1,000-yard season. Who's that running back now for the Patriots? Good third down back. Yes, I love that you bring up could be the best draft pick since Gronk. James White to LaDainian Thomas and Marshall Falk.
Oh,
I'll take Deion White. Deion Lewis, excuse me. Deion
okay.
White. I should made someone up.
I was trying to think. Wait, what?
I'll take Deion Lewis.
Yeah.
Exciting third down back out of the backfield, simple pass catch guy. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's all I need right now. Weapon. Move the ball downfield.
And,
get a win.
look, he hasn't been a bust. It's just he hasn't been as productive as I thought, and that was a good sign for him last week. This would be a great time and a great scenario where he kind of reestablishes himself and reemerges as somebody that could be a player for them. It's a good chance, good opportunity, good spot, and I don't think there's any reason to say he can't do it. So we'll see where it ends up going. Nice test again. Eventually, the Patriots are going to slip up. They're going to eventually fall. But this is one thing that isn't getting discussed. I brought this up a few weeks ago with Felger and Maz. The second biggest storyline coming into the season, obviously Drake May was the biggest. The second biggest, though, had to do with the draft class. And is this draft class worth a damn? And obviously Travion Henderson is going to, I think Will Campbell has been a solid pick. He's number 4 overall. I'd like him a little bit better than solid, but I think he's been solid. So there's that. But can this be a more dynamic, more successful class, or else you've really blown 2 great opportunities to add to the pipeline and to build your team? And if this is not a good, productive, fruitful draft class, they're going to have to make a change, George. You can't blow it twice in a row. You and I could have drafted Drake May. We could have drafted Will Campbell.
Yep.
They needed a quarterback. They needed a tackle. Those were the names. We could have read the publications and done it. They need to be better. And if they're not, somebody's got to make a change. And it's not the type of they're not having the type of season where I should be calling for changes. But it just, that draft class, that draft ability has to come back around for the New England Patriots, or else Drake May, as good as he is, will get nowhere. And now we can put this story aside because of what's going on. Doesn't matter right here and now. It's not going to affect them this year. May's exploded. They've got a good team. Diggs, some of the guys they've signed. Hunter Henry's still around. They're okay now. But if you're talking about down the line, what they need to be, they have to get back into the draft and be productive. And so far, not the case. This year, certainly not last year. Not the case. And that is a huge story that we're understandably not talking about enough. But that's a huge story of what's going on with the 2025 New England Patriots that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later.
Second round, Travion Henderson, not getting it done. And was supposed to be their second running back. Third round, Kyle Williams, not seeing the field. Third round, Jared Wilson, okay at left guard.
He's okay.
Not run blocking.
Yeah.
Good athlete.
You can move him back to center maybe. Maybe he turns into something a little bit more there.
And Braden Swinson, they ended up releasing him. Julian Ashby, long snapper's been fine. Andy Borregales, kicker's been good.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
I know.
You're right. I'm not giving credit to the kick. They could get a kicker. I mean, wasn't who's the kicker in Dallas? He was undrafted, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Aubrey.
Like that. But you're right that the draft picks do have to start contributing because
it's a huge story.
Last year's class, it's literally Drake May left as a contributor or on the roster. Jalen Polk gone, Caden Wallace, he's been injured. Layden Robinson, Javon Baker, Marcellus Dial, Joe Milton, Jaheim Bell. Dial obviously went down in the offseason.
And I like Dial.
Had a season-ending injury. The rest of the guys aren't on the roster.
All right.
We could do the quick 2023. Gonzalez, cool. Keon White, gone. Marte Mapu, backup. Jake Andrews, Chad Ryland, City So, Antonio Mafi, gone. Keyshawn Boutte, Bryce Baringer, Pop Douglas. What a sixth round.
I'm focusing more on the Elliott Wolf, while he was.
That's fine. 2023?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm putting it on him. 2022. Oh, my God. Cole Strange, Tyquan Thornton, Marcus Jones, Jack Jones. Marcus Jones, good. Only one left from that draft class.
It's been a tough run.
A nickel cornerback.
Willie is in the car. Hey, Willie.
Hey, boys. Tuesday, I'll do a turn back the clock.
Yep.
A good one is George Foreman.
Yep, that's
he
a good
came back
one.
in the early 90s, gave Holyfield all he could handle, got robbed against Morrissey, and then he took out Micah Moore for the championship. He was like the first old guy, like the pre-Brady's and these old guys coming back, I feel like, anyways.
Legend.
And then on the Patriots, real quick, unfortunately, they're not going to get A.J. Brown because the Eagles need him too much, unless he shoots his way out of town. But you have to go bottom feeding right now, which is tough because everyone's like 3-4 and 4-4, and they all think they have a chance. But if you can get Garrett Wilson from the Jets, tough in-division guy to get, or maybe Jacoby Myers from the Raiders, or Jerry Jeudy on the Browns. But that's about all I think you can probably get right now.
All right, thanks, Willie. Judy, no.
Why not?
No, not good enough. Again, not good enough.
So but you don't want to improve at all.
Not now.
You want a home run.
No,
and that's it.
I want to improve in another area. I think the passing.
So if you're
going to
trade assets, not a receiver,
go get another
edge
position.
rusher
Or a safety or linebacker. I'd rather have a linebacker, but I don't know the position's so good.
Why though?
Because
the defense has been good.
The defense needs to be better.
Yeah.
The defense needs to be more dynamic. They've been good. They've been complimentary. The offense has led the way.
Yes.
I want the defense to try to go up one more notch. And I just feel like I don't even know. Go type in best linebacker. The position is so different now.
Yeah.
You know?
It'd be Fred Warner, but
Brian,
he's injured, obviously, with his
Warner.
ankle.
There's no more Brian Urlachers. I just wish there was a linebacker,
Levante
somebody.
David.
That's right. That they could go get, that could cover sideline to sideline, be a factor in the run game. I'd love a playmaker on defense.
But they spent all that money on Robert Spillane in the offseason, and Mike Vrabel and Ryan Cowden need to be right with that contract. They're not going to trade for that linebacker.
And
at safety,
has been
Jalen
okay.
Hawkins has been fine. He's been good.
Yeah,
Craig
been
Woodson's
okay.
been fine.
Woodson has not been as good. Woodson has not been.
And he's a rookie.
Yeah.
That's a day 2 pick out of Cal.
If he could get replaced by someone, I would take it. I don't not want them to improve offensively. I like what their passing attack is. I think that they could do other things after the season, totally different. Then you can revamp it however you want. In season, I'm not messing with that when there are other needs and they've been as good as they've been. I'm just not doing with it or dealing with that unless, again, you could get a top tier guy. Then, okay, I don't see that. That's not really realistic to me. Garrett Wilson, I would love. Not realistic to me. A.J. Brown wasn't realistic to me. At least that's not a guy in division. But I am with Kay Adams. You should be. Why not? Yeah, you should be adding. It's just never that simple. 617-779-0985. Mark, George has the headlines. We'll be back. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
I'll take Deion White. Deion
Okay.
White. I should made someone up.
I was trying to think.
From the Top Tier Time Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
In the NFL, the Ravens have traded former Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander and a 7th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 6th-rounder. That adds to the Eagles trading for cornerback Michael Carter earlier this week as well. As for the Patriots, they will be without starting running back Ramondre Stevenson versus the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow. Stevenson missed all of practice this week with a toe injury. That leaves rookie running back Travion Henderson and second-year undrafted free agent Terrell Jennings as the only running backs on the roster. Michael Penix, Drake London, a go for Atlanta. Kickoff tomorrow at 1 p.m. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper pregame. Bob Sosi, Scott Zolak on the call right here on the Sports Hub. And in the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant for 1 game due to conduct detrimental to the team. And the Grizzlies lost to the Lakers. Morant looked simply disinterested and mentally checked out on the court. Asked after the game about his poor performance, Morant simply said, "Go ask the coaching staff." And the Celtics looking to make it 4 straight wins tonight as they host the Rockets for the second half of a back-to-back. Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, both probable to play. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Catch Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell with a call right here on 98.5. These Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Drains by James, brought to you by Eastern Mass's leader in drain cleaning and pipelining. Drains by James, slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm George Balekji for 98.5 Sports Hub. Your next update in 1 hour.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5. The Sports Hub. No matter what team, no matter what player, no matter what coach, no matter what game, it all happens here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
think you always stay ready just so you don't got to get ready. But like I tell people, deep ball is not always about speed. A lot of guys think just because maybe you run a 4.3, 4.2, you can't just always take the top off. I don't think that's really part of the game because I think technique beats speed, honestly, if you ask me. But I think it's just knowing how to run routes and get a good understanding of how to get open. So I think I do a tremendous job of that, because I'm not the fastest, but I always find a way to get past. So.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I love that analysis from K. That was Kayshon Boutte, George?
Yes.
I love that analysis.
I love the simplicity of
because I didn't play a lot of football. I played in high school, didn't play much. But what I did learn about the game, there's fast and then there's football fast.
Yes.
And sometimes it's different. I played with guys, a lot of them were very fast. They ran, for a high school kid running a 4.5, that's pretty fast. Couldn't play a lick of football.
Yeah.
The best player on our team, shout out John Barker, JMB.
JMB, baby.
Was like a 4.7, dominated. He was like MVP of the league, at Catholic Conference, MVP, state MVP, whatever, all scholastic. He was like 5'8", ran a 4.7 40. But he was so quick. I'm just saying what Kayshon Boutte is exactly right. He doesn't have to run a 4.3 to be effective. It's not always about being the fastest guy. You can, if you are quick, if you have savvy, if you understand playing, if you play fast, or maybe faster than your measurables, you can be productive. And that is clearly what we're seeing. Because I love Boutte's game. Yeah. I love what he's brought to this offense. Is he a number one? He's not a number one. But, I mean, for what they need, and if he's a part of a group of B-plus guys, he fits right in, and he has been excellent.
He's not a number one, but he's your number one. Everyone, the people that aren't really watching, they're like, Stephon Diggs is the one. No, yeah. Boutte is the number one. He's a deep ball threat, and Drake May's strength, when it comes to him as a passer, is his arm strength. So who's better down the field than anyone on this roster? It's Kayshon Boutte. What I loved about that bite from him, I don't think there's a player I've ever been as wrong heading into a season as I was about Kayshon Boutte. Mm-hmm. You weren't, logging my takes throughout the summer. But whenever I was looking at where the Patriots had to improve.
I was logging George Balekji takes.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
You were every morning, 8 a.m.
Somebody should.
There'd be a lot there.
We should have that type of accountability here.
Every time we talked about the receiving room, whether it was a draft, whether trading, guys I want to see step up, I saw Kyle Williams being this role as a deep ball receiver. My big thing with Kayshon Boutte was, and what I was saying, and where I was completely wrong, was that he doesn't have the speed, which I was right on, and he says it. He's like, I'm not fast, but I got the technique. But that he just simply isn't that guy. He can't dominate on the outside. He can't dominate down the field. He can't get open, get separation. But it doesn't matter because he has special chemistry with Drake May. And what does Kayshon Boutte do? Drake May goes, run down the field, put your hands out, the ball will be there. We need a special type of accuracy like Drake May and a guy that can throw the ball downfield and a brilliant play caller and schemer, Josh McDaniels, that can scheme guys open like Kayshon Boutte. He needs help. He needs an elite quarterback and one of the best play callers in the game. But guess what? I don't care how much help he needs because he's consistent, he's down the field, he's on the outside, and he's Drake May's guy. If Kayshon Boutte plays this right, works hard, stays on the roster, Mike Vrabel continues to like him, this is a guy that's going to walk into a $70 million contract. Please don't ask for number one money. You're not a number one receiver. But you know what? You could tie yourself at the hip, attach yourself at the hip to Drake May for the next 8-10 years, and he will be fine.
He makes the catches on the boundary.
He gets, yes.
He can go deep. He can get behind the deep and catch the deep pass. I did some work for Channel 7 over the summer, saw some practices. I asked him, I said, are people sleeping on you a little bit? He had the presidential answer, but you could tell the answer to him was yes. He didn't come out and be like, hell yeah. But you could tell, and I'll tell you this, and I tweeted this, I have the tweet. The Patriot, it was clear in training camp that they had some plans. So I don't know if you want to credit Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel, Thomas Brown, whomever. They had plans for Kayshon Boutte in camp. He was featured in camp. In drills, they were targeting him. They were throwing to him. He was part of what they wanted to do in camp. And he has delivered and then some to this point. I love it. Mark is OFD, or he might not be OFD, but he's in Dorchester. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys, pretty good. So 2 quick points. You make a good point. I think if we make a move at wide receiver, it's got to be for a home run. And I know you're talking about Booty, but I think, and let me know what you think about it, I think we could sell high right now on Booty's value. I think it's not going to be any higher than it is today. Package him with like a second or third round pick for Brown. And then I think supplementary, I think we go to, the Saints or something like that, get like a Chase Brown for like some late picks to kind of help with that defensive end position as well, too. So let me know what you think.
Okay.
Chase Young, I'm good on.
I'm good
that's
on
at
Chase
a part of when you're giving up assets, what's the timeline on what you're bringing in? Why I want a A.J. Brown? Why I would want a Chris Olave? Why I would want a Jalen Waddle? They're young, and they will still be in their prime when Drake May is getting into his prime, and the Super Bowl window is really here. Chase Young outside on the edge is fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mark, first-round pick for the Patriots. Let's say they're picking 25th in this upcoming draft. And you know who actually has that pick? It's the Raiders, because you have Max Crosby. You love it, you hate it. What do you think?
Say that again. Sorry.
Patriots don't have a first-round pick in this draft. I worded it like an idiot. I was trying to
No.
be
That was my
fancy.
fault. It was my fault.
Max Crosby for this year's first, next year's third.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You want an edge rusher.
I do, but I don't want to get. I think it's too important to get reestablished into the draft, and I want the first round pick, and I just don't think an edge rusher. And I also like their defensive line, by the way. Okay, I don't think
Outside
that's
of
going to
Harold
put them
Landry
on the
and
top.
Caleb Chase on, they're not getting any production.
I don't think that's going to put them over the top.
And Landry 30 plus, Caleb Chase on. This might be like his good year.
I'm not doing it.
They just cut Braden Swinson, so they obviously don't like drafting edgewise.
No, they need to. I need them to draft.
You know what? You know what you need? Them to draft.
Yeah,
they draft, and also that they are going to make a trade this offseason. You want them to stay pat. They're getting more draft picks. They have multiple sixth now.
Yes.
I see the price of guys going around. I really don't think the Patriots make any moves at the deadline. They stand pat. They're getting it done. They draft, and then also with the extra picks, they can swing a trade in the offseason where the price and demand may be lower.
I don't think they're a contender to win the Super Bowl. I don't. Not yet.
Second seed in the AFC?
Not yet. I think you
I
need.
agree.
I just don't think you win the Super Bowl in your first year as a quarterback playing in your first playoff. Like, I don't think you win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to operate with that mindset. Maybe that's a loser mindset. I don't know. And I'm not saying if you want to get a receiver, if you want to trade a 1 for a good receiver, Chris Olave, you're an idiot. I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't break up what they have, and I would try to allocate those assets, if you want to do that, elsewhere. But again, they need to. They're not going to sustain it by just continuing to trade first-round picks. I just don't think. I don't like what the Rams have done. I don't like that model. I like to draft.
But what did it get?
What get?
A ring.
It got a ring.
2021.
It did.
And they were a team that were a few plays away from playing in the Super Bowl last year.
But still, though, why is it even? Why did they get that ring?
Or advancing the NFC Championship game, excuse me.
Why did they get that ring? They got that ring.
Matt
Stafford, fine. They got that ring because of Cooper Kupp. They got that ring because of Aaron Donald.
Who they drafted.
Guys they drafted. Why are they relevant again?
Odell Beckham Jr., who they traded for.
Okay.
But didn't cost a first.
No, that's fine.
I'm meeting you halfway here.
Yeah.
I'm playing
ball. Why are they relevant again? Because they got a guy like Puka Nacua drafted. And I'm not saying
Devontae Adams traded for, but
traded
not for a first.
Sure,
but not for a first.
No, I just think
not for a first. Jared Verse, first round pick.
Yep,
drafted. Right. I'm going with you.
I'm a draft and develop type of guy, and I want them to reestablish themselves in the draft. And getting rid of first round picks, as good as Max Crosby is, that's the type of move. That's a move I would make if I'm Buffalo. Even the Packers.
Yeah.
I did not like what they did because you feel like we've got some experience in the playoffs. We've been close. We just can't get over the hump. First round pick. Fine. Forget the future. This is all about now. The Patriots aren't that. I'm not forgetting the future. They are in a nice place based on the explosive development of Drake May this year. But it's not forget the future where it's all about right now. That's not where they are. Okay, so I'm not operating that way. And in terms of the pass catchers, I like what they have. Again, I would take a bona fide one. But Brian Thomas Jr., no. Chris Olave, no. Whatever the caller just said, I need a bona fide Judy, no. Bona fide one, or I'm rolling with what I got. And we'll see. And then you try to add defensively to get more talent.
What we're going to end up seeing happening, Dorrance Strong.
Okay.
Who?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
I do not know who Dorrance Strong is.
Edge rusher for the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
Good piece to help have depth. And you know what it would cost? Honestly, with the price of these trades, probably a fifth and maybe next year's fourth. And I would do that. It adds depth. He's not even 29 years old yet. Young edge rusher. What we're going to see, Braxton Jones from the Bears. Right now, that would cost a 6th round pick, and you have multiple because of the Keon White and Kyle Duggar trades. And you know what he is? A backup right tackle this season, maybe a starter next year. Or I threw out the name Chigo Okonkwo because Hunter Henry's getting older, Austin Hooper's getting older, Drake May, Josh McDaniels like their tight ends. Consistent guy down the seams. 4 catches, 35 yards, 1 touchdown. That's what Chigo Okonkwo can do. But guess what, Mark? He'd cost you a 5th round pick.
Yeah. I'm
so you're
like
keeping your first, your second, and your third, and you're making the offense better or you're making the defense better.
Love it.
That's
Love
what you
deals
want.
like that. I'm for
Non-sexy,
that.
non-exciting.
This is not the Red Sox.
You are getting, you know what you're doing? You're staring at your office, right? You're sitting down and you're like, I'm going to paint the walls. I want to breathe some life into this. Everyone's like, all right. And then you go, I'm going to paint it beige just to change it up.
Is that what I'm doing?
Not the sexiest thing, but you know what? Maybe it's a necessity. You have chips in the wall. There's the kids have drawn on it.
I want them to reestablish this in the draft. I want to be back in the draft. I just think you're just kicking the can down there and delaying the inevitable if you don't do that. And I just don't think they're in a place to be wanting to give up a first round. You give up a first when it will put you over the top. And I don't think that they're probably a year away from that. Let's see. Now, if he goes into the playoffs and wins 2 games, and then they're back here next year with this team, different story. Now you've established you could win in the playoffs. Now you've established you could do some things and win at the highest level. In the biggest moments, you can get it done. What happened? Oh, you were a piece away. This guy dropped a key third down, or you gave up a bad drive. You need one thing to get you there. Fine. First round, let's do it. We're here right now. You're going to pay Drake May soon. Right now, let's go for it. But they're not there yet. And I'm not doing that yet. I don't want to disrupt. They've had some bad chemistry and culture the last couple of years. I want them to ride it out and see what they're going to be with this group unless you get an explosive bona fide number one option. 617-779-0985. We're working our way up to Celtics Rockets. Ime Udoka's back. I don't even know how we started talking about this, but he was in a relationship with somebody that was a 90s hottie, I guess. And we were going to talk about some of our childhood crushes, baby. So we'll see where that goes. We could do that later, too. All right? 617-779-0985. If you want to chime in.
The Dondero tease, baby.
Well, listen. Some people think my 90s crush was Danielle Fishel. And she was.
Topanga?
Yes.
Nice.
But that was not my top, my whatever you want to call it, my top crush of my childhood. I will reveal that at some point, too. Mark George, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. the Sports Hub.
Lamar rolls out to the right, throws quickly, touchdown, Mark Andrews! Rod called it, and the Ravens deliver it. And the Ravens grab their first lead of the night in South Florida. Lamar takes the snap, deep drop, wafts it to the 10, caught. Andrews in, touchdown Ravens! 2 for 2 for Mark Andrews. First and goal from the Miami 3. Lamar to throw, lob to the end zone. It's a trio of tight end touchdowns as Charlie Kohler comes up with a touchdown catch for a second week in a row. Off the play fake, Lamar escaping the pocket, slings it to the end zone. Touchdown Ravens! And this time it's a receiver, Rashad Bateman, and the touchdown stands.
Who's the biggest threat in the AFC to what the Patriots want to do this year?
Little fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, those 4 touchdown passes. 2 to Mark Andrews, 1 to Charlie Kohler, 1 to Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews, drafted in 2018. Rashad Bateman, Mark, first-round pick in 2021. He's not a first-round receiver the way he panned out. Charlie Kohler, drafted 2 years ago. Look what happens when you hold on to your picks to make your point here, my friend. But the biggest threat in the AFC, he wears number 15, and he's the most talented to ever play the position. Most talented, not the greatest. It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's the Chiefs. They got Rashee Rice, the way he's opening up that offense. Even with Isaiah Pacheco being stagnant, the rookie and Brashard Smith that they have out of SMU, he's literally a carbon copy of Isaiah Pacheco. Better pass catcher out of the backfield. Absolutely love him. Love his game. And this is a defense that's getting locked in, has talent everywhere. It's the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid. It's number 15. And it has nothing to do with Travis Kelce. It has nothing to do with Chris Jones. They keep their picks. They draft wisely. The extensions, the Jones extension, the Kelce extension, these legacy contracts they got, that's what hurt them last year and this year. But the offensive line is coming around. Last time we saw them on the field, they were missing 3 starters up front. This Chiefs team, still the biggest threat in the AFC, bar none. Colts are nice. Let's see Daniel Jones. Patriots, it's been fun. Really easy schedule. This Ravens team, the defense is coming together. Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith are healthy. It's the Chiefs, brother.
Okay. I can't just up and disagree with that because I have too much respect for what they do and how good they've been and all those things.
And me too, right? Of course.
And for you. Okay. But I'm just saying, as of now, good win against the Lions. That was a good win. That was a
100%.
real win. Okay. They're 5-3. Their next 3 games at Buffalo tomorrow, not an easy game, even though I'd pick them.
I think they win that one.
At Denver, not an easy game. Denver is a pain in the ass to play.
Always.
Colts at home.
Yep.
Not easy. And if they lose to Buffalo, which could happen, Josh Allen at Buffalo, you never know. If they lose, okay, that is going to be 5-4. You have not played the Broncos yet. You have another game against the Chargers that you lost. That game, you lost to them earlier in the year. That game will be at home. That's going to be tough. You could still make the playoffs, but that will be a tough spot to be in. 5-4 with games 2 against the Broncos, 1 against the Colts, 1 against the Texans. Now, do the Texans scare you? Not necessarily, but they're not awful. C.J. Stroud could have a big game. They could put together a defense. You just never know. And another game against the Chargers. I don't like that spot for KC if they lose tomorrow. Now, they could still make the playoffs, still be the biggest threat, and be the last seed in the playoffs. But they need a win tomorrow. And that would be a good one on the road against the Bills team that hasn't been excellent this year.
As we talk about the standings, Chiefs right now are the 7 seed.
Yep.
Patriots are the 2. Number 1 seed gets a bye. Chiefs at Patriots. That would be the playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the spread would be for that?
That's a great question. The Chiefs would have to be favored, I would think,
yes.
right?
On the road, in the playoffs,
he's
Patrick
the MVP
Mahomes.
front runners by according to the
Mahomes
odds.
is?
Yeah.
Drake May's number 3 in odds, depending where you look.
I still think, based on the pedigree, it would be Chiefs -2.5.
I think you're so close. I say -3.5.
Yeah.
That's a respect thing for Mahomes. You got to give him a little better than a field goal. I think it should be -5.5. I think it would come in at -3.5 to 2.5, like you're saying. But that's the outlook. And I get it, everything you list out. This is a team that lost, 27-21 to the Chargers. Mahomes was Superman in that game. Had to do it at all. And just the offensive line was not there. Yeah, it wasn't clicking like we're seeing.
Defense
and the receiving
didn't do
room
it,
wasn't good yet either. Yeah, defense wasn't on top. They lost to the Eagles by 3. That was week 2, and it's the Eagles. They lost to the Jaguars, which was a shocker, by 3, 31-20.
Shocker.
Absolute upset.
Brutal.
This is still a team, one-possession games I trust because of who the quarterback is. He's the eraser. Patrick Mahomes, end of the day, is the eraser. You know what Drake May is right now? He's the eraser of bad draft classes, of his fellow rookies not stepping up, of an offense that really doesn't have elite playmakers at any spot. Drake May is an eraser, and that's the best thing you can say about anybody. Tom Brady was an eraser for all those years of bad general management from Bill, great head coach, awful drafter, from I can't say bad ownership because Robert Kraft minded his own damn business until he had to intervene. But the best players are erasers, not just GOATs, not just elite, not just playmakers. They erase the mistakes of other people. Josh Allen's an eraser of Sean McDermott being a bad head coach. Justin Herbert was an eraser of Brandon Staley and Anthony Lynn. He still needs to be better. Mahomes is an eraser, and you have to remember that when the playoffs come around. And that's a guy that's won on the road in the postseason on his way to a Super Bowl victory. It's a guy that's won at home, of course. Gillette, home playoff game against the Chiefs would be electric because I think of everything that leads to that.
Yeah.
I think Chiefs still win it.
Let me say this. It would be wildly disappointing. Again, tough bar for the Patriots to go one and done. Based on how good, if you're an MVP finalist or something like that, if Drake May goes one and done, that's disappointing.
I love
know
this combo.
I know.
This is just like our
we are,
Drake.
and it's a great conversation to have.
This is just like our Drake May combo, right? You were ready to call him a bust, and I said, and you said he had to have a winning record.
No. I wasn't ready to call him a bust.
Okay.
I was just outlining what needed to happen.
Yep. Including a winning record.
Hold on. It wasn't so much I was ready to call him a bust. I was trying to outline what needed to happen for him to become the guy, to be the real franchise star that you wanted him to be. And I just was ready for that to maybe not happen. I wasn't going to call him a bust. He clearly wasn't a bust. Immediately, I mean, he had a place in the league.
He was like 20th best quarterback last year.
Well, I
have to do some digging for this one.
Okay. Well, you feel free to.
I'll find it. Yeah.
I forget what my tone was when we were having this conversation.
You know what? I never mind the tone. I'm from Jersey. The tone never messes with me. I'm always listening for the message.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to gotcha here.
No, that's fine.
Because the same way you're talking about this, you would hate for them to go one and done. What if it's a shootout loss to Mahomes? He gets the ball down 3, minute 40 left, 2 timeouts, and he just does Mahomes things, and they end up winning by 4.
It's no indictment on Drake May.
But you'd be disappointed for one and done in the postseason.
I would be disappointed, 100%. 100%.
I would be disappointed for the run to end like that, but it wouldn't be a disappointment of how it ended. Does that make sense?
Well, I wouldn't.
You want to see it's the same thing. Red Sox playoff run. They won a game. They stole one they didn't steal one. They won a game. Garrett Cole put it all on the table, and no one could do anything about it, which has to be the best feeling in the world. And then they dropped the next 2 games. Yankees won it. That's it. It stinks how it ended, but I wasn't disappointed that it ended so quick.
This past Red Sox season? Yeah. I mean, I was disappointed. Yeah, fair. The way it ended, the base running. Yeah.
It's like...
No Devers.
Look, it doesn't mean... I'm not saying losing or going one and done would be unacceptable.
It all depends what your expectations are.
Yeah, I'm just saying based on the run,
yeah,
I would like to be able to add to it and say, hey, and he won a playoff game. That's all. I mean, Lamar Jackson's had issues in the playoffs. He's as good as they come. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be an indictment on Drake May. I would just be disappointed. I'd like for that. They're good enough. May's good enough to get more, especially if it was a situation where it wasn't his fault. That would disappoint me, that you couldn't have at least a playoff win to your name based on the season they've had.
What's great about this combo is you and we went from saying, what could the Patriots do that may cause them to lose this Sunday? Just think back a year ago. To now we're talking about what would be a disappointing season, and I'm saying losing in the playoffs. After watching this team the last 2 years, win 4 games each season, have their heads so far in the sand when it came to personnel decisions, what a beautiful combo to have. I just want to take that
moment. Had a lot of great conversations this year.
617-779-0985 to call in.
Appreciate your perspective.
What would be successful season for the Patriots for you? Because 6-2 right now. Drake May's rolling every week too. Now what we're seeing we heard Orlovsky earlier in the show. Kane Adams talking.
Yeah.
People saying Drake May should be MVP. Patriots should go all inness, as Kay Adams said. They should do that. Like, what a different combo around this team compared to what it was last few years.
They are checking a lot of boxes.
Yes.
In terms of if we're playing what's a successful season? The Drake May thing, a success. It'd be great if they could win a playoff game. That wouldn't necessarily, again, we'd have to see how it transpires. If for some reason Drake May looked great all year and then in one playoff game looked like a shell of himself, that would rattle me a little bit. Yeah.
Oh.
That would rattle me a little bit.
Wouldn't worry me.
Okay.
I have the confidence in the kid, but
yeah.
I get it. But the tough part with football, it's one and done postseason. You don't get a series where you can bounce back and show some.
Right.
You learn that lesson hard and fast and quick. That's what it is. But the same way of year one of Drake May, the starter, where it was Jacoby Brissett than him and didn't have a lot of support, it wouldn't worry me because this is a team, end of the day, that's all. This Patriots team is ahead of schedule. And I'm the guy that said 10 or 11 wins. And it was because their schedule is so soft. But the way they're dominating as they are and the flashes that Drake May is showing, that's what has me going, okay, that's how they're ahead of schedule. I expected playoff appearance. But for him to be playing at this level, and I may be one of the biggest Drake May believers out there, I was not expecting this quick, this early, this fast in this system.
No, nobody was expecting MVP. Nobody was expecting MVP.
With this bad receiving room. That's what gets me too.
Did you say bad receiving room?
Bad receiving room.
This is not a bad receiving room.
It's a bad receiving
It's not
room.
a bad receiving room.
Skill set wise, talent, they don't have
Diggs
speed.
is good. Douglas is good. Booty is good.
Matt Collins is good.
They're B's. I think it's not bad.
Matt Collins is a C minus.
He's not a C minus.
Kayshon Boutte, he's a C minus. He's a special teams guy, but he's a big body. In the red zone's important. Good in contested catch. He filled a very niche need they needed.
Okay.
Pop Douglas has the flashes. Stephon Diggs is good.
Well, then that's even more of a feather in the cap of Drake May.
Exactly.
Okay. So
yes.
We'll see where it goes. Again, these are conversations we're going to have. They're good conversations to have. I would just like Drake May. I want him to finish strong based on the year he's had. Part of that's going to be the team. It's up to them. It's not all on Drake May, but I would love to see him finish strong, and there are different ways to lose a football game. The Chiefs could be an interesting matchup in the first round. I would salivate over that, but there's a lot more football to come before that, including a big one tomorrow against the Falcons. 617-779-0985. Mark, George, 98.5 The Sports Hub. When we get back, we'll get into a little Celtics as they get set to take on the Houston Rockets at TD Garden tonight, right here on this air, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Had some flashes, went on some streaks. Yes.
Boston's home for sport. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Inbound will come from Oubre on the far side of the floor. It's in safe to Grimes. Grimes, 2 seconds. Grimes has to pull up. Grimes finds Embiid. He launches a three. It's no good. And the Celtics have won the ball game. Who was going to come apart last is what decided this one, as the Celtics nearly kicked the can away down the final few minutes of this game, missing free throws and turning it over. But at the end, the Sixers cannot manage the final play. Embiid launching a crazy three at the buzzer, and a wild game ends up in the hands of the Boston Celtics. The Celtics have won 3 in a row. They beat the Sixers 109-108.
All right, back here 98.5 The Sports Hub. Mark Dondero, George Balekji. Celtics hold on to get the win last night, get a good gritty win in a close game against the 76ers. Is that the headline?
Yes.
Is it?
Celtics win gritty versus Sixers. Versus 76ers.
See, okay.
Celtics close win.
See, this is George.
SEO.
And I'm not going to give them no credit for the win last night. It was a close game. They held on. It was a good win.
They found a way to hold on.
But this is why I have, so in the stats, this will probably go down as a close win where they gutted it out in crunch time, clutch time, and they found a way to win. But did the actions that we saw really reflect that? Was that a clutch performance? Good defense on the final possession, I'll give them that. But missing free throws down the stretch, kind of blowing some lead down the stretch. Yeah, it doesn't, the
two
action.
Offensive rebounds in one possession, but it ended up being just 3 Derek White threes that all clanked off, and the 76ers get possession. Jaylen Brown on the inbound quickly double-teamed and turns the ball over. That stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's what had me concerned, and I was waiting for them to choke it away, but they didn't, Mark.
Right.
And it was the flashes. What I was watching for, which was interesting, the closing unit we saw from Joe Mazzulla. It was Xavier Tillman playing the 5. That's the reality of the Celtics.
Shots. He had some big buckets.
Yeah. And stops and rebounds. Jaylen Brown, Hugo Gonzalez. Could we talk about a guy that was never anything spectacular in EuroLeague, is still really young, I think 21, still needs to develop, and with the physical struggles he had in the Eurobasket, everyone is saying he'll have to, it'll take a year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it has not taken. Let me pump the brakes. 8 games into the season. I mean, just 10 games, whatever. But he's been making plays on both ends of the floor.
Sure.
It's defensive possessions of him being able to stay in front of Tyrese Maxey, who's one of the most electric players in the NBA. Literally electric.
Yes.
So hard to stay in front of for any defender, and he does, and he stops him to get the ball out of Maxey's hands, and that ends up in a defensive stop. Airball to 3. His shot's not there. He needs to work on it. You talk about gritty. Laying down, getting court burn, going all out for loose balls, not coming up with it, but it doesn't matter. He still has an effort. He's been great. Derek White's been good. Sam Hauser, lane game checking in, has been good. This is a team. This is how it's going to be for 82 games. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. They're going to have to win in different ways. And right now they've won game after game after game. They're on a streak, a little bit of a run after what they started and all the disappointment. Jaylen Brown seems more in tune. He seems a little healthier. It's going to take time. He had significant offseason knee surgery. Hugo Gonzalez is playing significant minutes. Derek White, significant minutes. Joe Mazzulla, this is the biggest test. It was a fun win. I would say it was gritty. It was fun. Wasn't the prettiest.
Good win.
Gritty over pretty, you would take in basketball.
The exact way it played out kind of still speaks to my concerns. I don't think they're great in close games. You just don't.
Fair.
But this isn't the time and place to crush them for what they did in that game. They won it. Good for them. Good win. And I think this is more representative of what they are, what they need to be. Their first few losses and being 0-3, that's not, I mean, look, I know Tatum's not there. He's a big piece of what they do. Obviously, that's understating it. But Tatum isn't the entire team. Jaylen Brown is more than capable of leading this team, not to a championship without Jason Tatum, obviously, but to 500, to the playoffs. He should be good. He should be good enough for that. With Derek White, with Peyton Pritchard, give him a minute, especially if Hugo Gonzalez is going to contribute. If guys like, I'm a Neemias Queta fan. I like his game. I like his bounce. I like his activity. I like what he can do, in the paint against the bigs of the other team. I like that player. And then we'll go from there. This is what they should be. Now, I didn't expect them to necessarily be, beating the Cavs by 25.
Yeah.
Cavs give them trouble even when Tatum's there. But this is what they could be and should be, and this is more in line with what I expected this year. They're going to have bad moments. They're not going to have all the wins that you would have with Tatum. This is what they are, and I like that. That's where they need to. They've settled in a little bit, and that's a good sign.
It was a team that I expected them to choke it away 3-4 separate times last night. They didn't.
They didn't.
And that's what you need. They're not deep. They're not that great. Jaylen Brown's a fantastic player, but they're not a great team. They're not even a good team. But they'll make the playoffs because the East is that weak. But it's to show flashes like this and ways to win like this. That's what's important for them. And they did it against a talented, not really good, a talented Sixers team. Case in point, it's a simple, and the guys that are going to close games for Joe Mazzulla are going to do what they did on that last possession. Blitz a ball handler, force a ball into Quentin Grimes' hands. He's not that dude in that moment. Good role player, good shot, good piece. He didn't know what to do with the ball, held it on too long, tried to give it back to Max, he couldn't, and B doesn't even get a shot off in time. People that execute in those moments, and credit to Joe Mazzulla making the perfect call defensively, those are the guys that are going to play for him. And he's going to experiment with it. We saw the quick hook for him with his subs. Anyone not hustling for rebounds. Anyone for turning the ball over. He's going to yank them off the field, and that's fine because Mazzulla's just going to find guys that go out there and execute. And he himself has to put on a coaching showcase, and he has so far.
I wouldn't say a coaching showcase. I didn't think he was good enough for the first night. But look, they're
games like that.
They're now playing the way they need to play without Jason Tatum and what we expect. That's where they need to be. They're not going to win every game, but now they've had a couple good wins. They've established that Jaylen Brown's established himself. He made some great shots last night. That's a good win for them, and let's see what they can do against a Rockets team they've got some talent. They're pretty good. That's going to be a nice test against a coach that knows them, and it's a tough guy to go against. So we'll see. Speaking of that coach, an interesting way, we still don't know exactly what happened when he left.
Yeah.
He was dating somebody that was hot in the 90s. So as a result, George wanted to do 90 crushes from our childhood. We can get into that. Who is your childhood crush? Give me a couple, George. We'll get to that. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. just like you. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Well, I talked about it obviously when it happened, and then obviously in my press conference leading up to Houston. But job not finished. The relationships you build and the people you impact, and so that'd be the biggest thing. And is you formed a lot of relationships within a year, and obviously wanted a chance to run it back and do it again with the group that you feel you could build and grow with. And so, letting the people down. And I talked about the players, the relationships I built with them, the coaches that came with me, and then everybody else that was impacted by it. And so, from there, that's the biggest thing I would say overall is, letting some people down for sure. But we've talked it out, and I've seen a lot of these people throughout the summer and talk regularly, and so we've moved past it.
So personally, I like Ime Udoka as a coach. I didn't want to see him leave.
I loved him. He was great.
Yeah, I love the way he carried himself. I love the way that he injected that personality, or whatever you want to call it, into what the Celtics were under him. I love that. Then he left. And I think what happened was...
He didn't leave.
You know what I mean? He got fired. Yeah, because of whatever was going on. But he left. He was fired. And that's why he left.
Him and Tyler Sagan.
Okay. So... I'm interested. So I guess what happened was George, our producer George, thinking that, okay, here's Ime Udoka's back tonight. Used to date Nia Long. Nia Long was one of his crushes from back in the day. So now we're going to discuss our crushes.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Yeah,
was that kind of how it happened?
It was Balekji.
Oh, was this you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was me.
Well, there's so many Georges. Yeah, I'm all messed up.
It's so many.
I don't
There's
really
two
care.
of them.
I'm for it. All right, so give it to me.
Well, it's he didn't just fumble a one of 10 job in all pro sports. That's what I always say from the beginning. It wasn't just one of 30 in the NBA. It was one of 10 in pro sports, right? Like Patriots, Cowboys, Yankees, Red Sox, Celtics, Lakers, right? Like that's how it is. Name some hockey teams for me. But anyhow.
Canadians.
Yes. Yeah. Even go EPL. Okay, I digress. It's that with all of this too, he was with Nia Long and he fumbled that as well. He fumbled a 1 of 10 job and a 1 of 10 partner.
Yeah.
And for us, guys born in the 90s or maybe just before, it's just you grew up like Nia Long from Fresh Prince. For me, when I think Nia Long, I think 90s. It's Marissa Tomei, my cousin Vinny.
Okay.
All-time legend.
I got to look her up.
Have you ever seen my cousin Vinny?
No.
Are you not big into pop culture? Do you not watch movies?
I'm not a big movie guy.
You need to watch My Cousin Vinny.
Okay. Belichick. No, I know. There's a lot of movies.
I know
that
you made
disgusted.
the Mona Lisa Vita reference.
This is not.
She
She is not on my list. Not on my list.
What's your list?
I mean, I loved back in the day. My top crush back in the day was Tiffany Thiessen. Kelly Kapowski.
Oh yes.
Kelly Kapowski.
All right. Yeah. Everyone.
Was that too mainstream?
No. It's just
I mean, she
can't go against Kapowski.
The college years when they were, she was a little Beverly Hills 90210. That was.
She was in Beverly Hills. I didn't even know.
She was in Beverly Hills 90210. That's. I think that was her peak.
Okay.
But Danielle Fishel was right there.
Topanga.
Okay, especially those high school days. She was better some years than others, but she was really. That was a
crush.
Big one for me. Yeah.
Jenny from the block for me too.
Jennifer Lopez. Yeah.
Like Jenny from the block.
Okay.
Jennifer Lopez. Childhood crush.
I also had a thing for Mandy Moore for a little stretch there.
Okay.
She was new.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's another one.
Demi Moore.
Here's another one that gets. Go ahead, George.
I like the Mandy Moore reference.
Yeah.
It's an obscure one, right? But my top is Stacey Dash. She's always been my crush. Mo Money was I didn't really get into Clueless. I'm not a chick flick guy. That's not. Born in '86,
Legally
so
Blonde.
Clueless wasn't going to do it for me.
Okay.
But Mo Money, she just stood out. Just something that's always stuck with me. If I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of a list, I would say Jennifer Love Hewitt is also up there for me. It's kind of like on teen magazines galore. And yeah, always attracted. So yeah, it's good time for 90s. I mean, we just had a pick of the litter, to be sure, as young men.
Men and women. There were some 90s hot. I know you were a big JTT guy, George. Who's
JTT?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He doesn't want to admit
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
He's before your time. He was big in Home Improvement. He was like one of those Leo DiCaprio. Or not Leo DiCaprio. Leo DiCaprio was in Titanic. He was one of them, right? He dates back.
Beach, the movie Beach, too.
The kid from Little Giants, Devin Sawa. He was later the Eminem video. So it goes both ways. But obviously, yeah, another hot take that I had. People don't like this. I don't care. I always thought Courtney Cox was more attractive than Jennifer Aniston. People don't like that.
Same thing with Topanga has their seasons. Like there was, I would say seasons 4 through 6.
Fair.
I was like, all right, Monica.
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely controversial, but if you go full body of work, it was Rachel over Monica.
It's fine. So yeah, there you go. There's our the '90s crush of our childhood history of crushes, whatever.
But that's what Ime Udoka, beyond just giving up like a dream job, lost a dream girl, dream partner, and that was a bite that we played coming out of break. That was from a year ago when he's with the Rockets, head coach there, before he returned to Boston to take on the Celtics. It's like, yeah, my biggest regret is I let some people down.
Yep.
Some people. That season with him, I will never get out of my head in the playoffs, Ime Udoka calling a timeout and to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's faces going, what the F are you guys doing?
I loved it. Loved it.
Calling a timeout to call out an NBA player on the floor. What the F are you doing? Lock in. Not many coaches can do that and get away with it, especially in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that's what Ime Udoka was. It's what he still is. He's still there in Houston, so he's fixed his issues.
I like Joe Mazzulla. Do I have some, reservations about his philosophy that could lead to things that could be problematic later? Of course.
Yes.
But I just loved
Ime Udoka in 1 year, what he showed.
I don't know if he would, and it's a useless conversation now. I don't know if he would have grown tired, like if the players would have grown tired of his style or any of those things.
No, fair combo.
We don't need to have it right now.
Let's think. I mean, in Houston, he has one of the more younger but talented rosters.
Yeah.
Of course, Kevin Durant's there.
Sure.
But it's not like those guys are running dry with what he's saying to them and getting pissed off. Like, his voice is still resonating in that locker room, and that's what's significant about him. He's one of the best coaches, completely different style of basketball. Do the Celtics still win that ring? Yes, I think so. Because of Jaylen Brown, how clutch he was, the ascension of Jason Tatum.
Yep.
And Ime Udoka was a reason. Those players were the reason Ime Udoka got that job initially.
Sure.
The Team USA connection, learning under Greg Popovich, bouncing around the league, multiple benches, but a well-versed head coach. They would have won a ring with him. And you know what? Maybe they would have repeated.
Maybe Jason Tatum matures in a different way, not a bad way, just a different way, but didn't work out. All right, let's get a headlines with George. And we'll continue to get you ready for Celtics, Rockets, anything else on the table. We've discussed Patriots, 617-779-0985. Mark George, 98.5, The Sports Hub.
From the Telstra Type Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
In the NFL, the Ravens have traded former Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander and a 7th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 6th-rounder. Adds to the Eagles' trade haul as they traded for cornerback Michael Carter, earlier this week as well. And the Patriots will be without starting running back Ramondre Stevenson versus the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow, as he's out with a toe injury. That leaves rookie running back Travion Henderson and second-year undrafted free agent Terrell Jennings as only running backs on the roster. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper will have pregame right here on the Sports Hub before Bob Sozzi and Scott Zolak have the call on 98.5. In the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant for 1 game due to conduct detrimental to the team. In the Grizzlies' loss to the Lakers, Morant simply looked disinterested and mentally checked out. Asked after the game about his poor performance, and Morant simply said, quote, "Go ask the coaching staff," end quote. These Sports Hub headlines were brought to you by... Enjoy a quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm George Balekji for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 1 hour.
Get
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
it's interesting. George was talking about in our rundown all-time sports regrets in association with Ime Udoka. It's hard. I mean, do I wish it worked out a little bit or didn't play out the way it did so I could have seen kind of how things transpired under Ime Udoka? Yes. But it's hard to really regret it. They did get a championship. Joe Mazzulla has been a good coach for this team based on what they need. If I have a younger, less talented team, I'd rather have Ime Udoka. But for what the Celtics are and keeping the superstars happy and injecting some kind of mindset into the team, I think Joe Mazzulla's been fine. I don't love him in X's and O's situations. I don't love him, the philosophy with so many threes. But I like him overall.
So the coaching aspect?
Yeah.
Like the X's and O's.
Look, I think he's got some Phil Jackson in him, which is good.
Yes, he does. I think end of the day, that's what it is for him. Sorry about that.
I was like, what are we doing? I don't know what was happening. Is that George? But in terms of by Phil Jackson, I mean, he has a way.
Philosophy to connect with the players.
Connecting with the players. And that's what this league is largely all about. Yes. Getting those superstars to be happy, buy in, and stay on the right track. And that's what he is good at. He's good at that. End of game situation, timeouts, philosophy, not as confident, not as comfortable, but keeping Tatum and Brown aligned, I think he's good at that.
Especially with how they want to play for him. And if you go inside that Celtics building, no one wants Jason. The only person that wants Jason Tatum to succeed just as bad as Jason Tatum is Joe Mazzulla.
Yes.
So to have that vindication behind your best player, your number one player, and then the same thing goes for Jaylen Brown, where he has that strong relationship with both of them. And the fact that Joe Mazzulla is able to make them coexist. They love playing with each other. We see it on the floor. They win.
Yeah.
It's always Brown versus Tatum that we do here in Boston. It's fair. Jaylen Brown could be a number one player, maybe somewhere. Maybe. We'll see this season. But he has them coexist. He has Jason Tatum buying in. The way he played when they won that ring to become the initiator and the point guard on offense. And also to deflect to Jaylen Brown and let him be the clutch guy, to let him be the one that wins finals MVP, to embrace the role and how everyone embraces the roles. Like that takes a lot. And to your point, Mark, that's the Phil Jackson-esque approach by Joe Mazzulla that works. Ime Udoka, X's and O's, I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. I think he's better than Joe Mazzulla there. But could he have made it work and make them coexist to get a ring? I don't know.
The only thing I think he needs to be better at substantially, and I think he's going to, this is what could, look, the X's and O's, could that determine their chance to win a championship down the street? Maybe. The one thing that I need him to be better at and to take more ownership of, or whatever you want to call it, I want him to get the Celtics to be more efficient in late game situations. And I just don't think they're as smooth, they're as buttoned up, they're as prepared, there is whatever you want to call it. Yeah. They're just not in late game situations. And I need him to be the guy. I don't think he's asked about it enough. I think the one time it sort of came to the forefront was during the NBA playoffs, the year they won, and they were right before. It was right before the playoffs, and they really responded when it was more than just a part-time person at the sports hub yelling about it. When it was like a national storyline, they responded then. Then they won the championship and sort of kind of got back into their, I don't want to say got too comfortable, but it's not the same thing now. So they're back struggling when they're in a situation to win the game.
I just think it's where he needs to improve is having a feel for the game. Like when they were playing the Knicks last year in the postseason.
Yeah.
Well before Jason Tatum tears his Achilles, ruptures it, and is done. But it is with the massive lead, continuing to shoot threes, just not playing smart, get the best shot. There is a Golden State Warriors style of basketball. Pass up a good shot for a great shot, and that great shot more times than not is a three. Fine. But for the Celtics, it's not even trying to find multiple shots or find that great look. It's the first look from three you have to shoot it.
Yeah.
It's a high volume where he believes in the law of averages, Joe Mazzulla. We're going to shoot 53 threes a game. And more times than not, we will shoot 45% or better from three. More times than not, you won't keep up at our clip. And in a 7-game series, we will win because over the course of the 7 games. But he has to get better when you're up big. You don't need to shoot 55 threes. Play the smart style of basketball because the ball gets stagnant. Now, here's the other side of the Celtics. We're talking about the gritty win, how they played smart on defense. The offense can still look stale. Peyton Pritchard has not been what you want to see from him for the leap to play more minutes. And that comes down to the coaching.
Yeah. And I'm with you in terms of, hey, they can look a certain way and they can do a certain, and they can just, over a 7-game series, eventually they'll start falling. I just don't like it. I'm not for it. I know they shoot threes well. I've just never been live and die by the three. And I think it's a philosophy. If they want to do that, that's fine, because they've never been a soft team. I don't think they're soft. They play hard. They play defense. They're mentally tough. But I just feel like if they're going to find a way to win a championship again, the first thing that has to get better, they have to flip the script in late game situations. They have to be that team that finds ways to win, and not because it's an accident or because the other team screws up. They have to be the reason that they win those games. Why
is it so hard?
Yes. They find ways to pull it out, and I get a good feeling when they're in those situations. I get a dreadful feeling when they're in those situations currently. That's the reality.
It was
Dude,
good.
I've answered that for 2 years now.
I know, but it's not changing.
Was that him on all the questions he got asked about shooting threes?
It was, yeah.
It's not going away.
Yeah, he's he kind of deflected there when turned it into 2-on-1s and fast breaks. I don't know how many fast breaks you're running with shooters and stuff like that. I don't even like fast breaks where you're looking to space out and pass behind you. I mean, it's just counterintuitive to when we grew up. I mean, 2-on-1 fast break, you're driving the lane and then you're kicking it outward. It's just like
he wants it.
Finish at the basket.
That's his style of basketball. That's what
everybody should be able to answer that question verbatim.
He lost his mind.
He's a psycho in the healthiest way possible, and that's what I do like about him.
So I had over 44 and a half in this game. Did you see
23-20, and the Georgia quarterback kneeled at the 1
yard
when he
line.
could have scored. He would have made it 24-20. He had 44 and a half.
Over 44 and a half.
He would have made it 30-20. He would have made it a 2-possession game.
That's incredibly
Go
disappointing.
in, buddy.
That's incredibly disappointing.
Fishy? Huh? Do you have the Joe Murray drop?
I know.
Smelly.
That is devastating. Probably the right play. Now they win the game, but literally 44 and a half.
You have the ball. I mean, if Kirby Smart wants a nice middle, but he won't do it. Florida's on an interim head coach. I was going to say, if Kirby Smart wants to just give him a
you just kneel it. You don't kneel there if you're not going to kneel out the clock. You would have scored.
44 and a half.
Yeah.
What did it open at?
I moved it a little bit.
Did you buy
But
points?
if that goes in, it would have covered the normal over. So there's a lot of people that are upset about that more than me, like just with me. So you can go screw off Stockton. Probably the right play, though.
That 1,000% was the right play.
Yeah.
I'm just watching that happen as I'm mid-taking. Like, that's fantastic. And
That's it's a brutal way to lose.
Total 44 and a half. Mark Dondero took the over.
Yep.
Final in Gainesville. Number 5, Georgia, 24. Number unranked Florida, 20.
Ouch. Hurts. All right. Back to the Celtics. I'm just glad they sort of found their footing, because it didn't make it. When we were talking about it's going to be a long winter and tanking for the. You knew, by the way, those conversations were around the corner. When they lost 3 straight, and they were 0-3, and they looked bad, and those conversations weren't far away. Now we don't need to worry about those conversations.
The one thing you can give the Celtics is they are patient.
Yeah.
So many teams.
By the way, I didn't want to have those conversations. I'm not for those conversations. I'm just telling you factually they were around the corner.
Yes.
So
when the Celtics lost to the Heat in the playoffs.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that NBA franchise blows it up. Fires the head coach, trades one of the top 2 players, hits reset. Celtics ran it all back, made massive offseason swings, get Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis in, but they stuck with the head coach and it worked out. He won a ring. And the NBA is so much managing personalities, managing egos that are bigger than the Empire State Building. And he can do it. Joe Mazzulla can do it.
That's right. And until further notice, last year was not, I didn't think overall the playoffs were a good moment for Joe Mazzulla. Fireable offense, no. But I didn't think it was a good moment for him. Blowing those leads, it didn't look good. And then it looked even stranger when Tom Thibodeau shows up at camp or whatever. Just beat you in the playoffs. He's unemployed. He's walking around your camp. But I just need improvement in late games. I just haven't seen it. I I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Look, I try to watch the games, and when it's happening, I tweet it. Here we go. This is the situation. And I feel like more often than not, they lose those games. That's what needs to improve. They're not going to dominate their way to any more championships. They're going to have to find a way to win close games consistently against the best teams. And until I see that happening, it is what it is. There's a good win the other night, though. All right, we'll be back here. More to come here as we get you set. Celtics Sixers coming up on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Rockets.
Celtics Rockets.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. the Sports Hub.
There's a lot of Celtics fans when we travel on the road. In like a humble way, there's a lot of Jason Tatum fans out there that, some cities where New Orleans, we only come once a year. I understand the value of people who only get to see us once a year and, try to see their favorite player play. I'm not able to play, but I could be out there and maybe I can make somebody's day if I wave at them or something like that.
Back here, 98.5, Davey said Celtics rocket over at TD Garden. Celtics trying to find a way, stay afloat, wait for Jason Tatum to get back. Is this a championship type of team if Tatum gets back? Like, are you trying to get them to contend for a title if he gets back? What's your thought on that?
That's a brilliant question. Short of it, no. And it's because of the front court and the lack of players. Like, impact players. I'm with you. Nemish Queta, good piece.
Yeah.
Xavier Tillman, good piece. But neither is a guy that you can say significant minutes in a 7-game playoff series. You're going to be our dude. Defensively, especially, and as a rim runner. Queta, Rob Williams light with much better knees, which is what you love to see.
Yeah.
Great player to play off of a Tatum or a Brown and the other playmakers they have. He just still doesn't have it all there defensively. And it's the simplicities of like guarding on a pick and roll at the NBA level. Just not getting over enough to stop from the drive and getting blown by to the cup. Like, that can't happen. Xavier Tillman Joe Mazzulla didn't play him last year in the playoffs. Like, that says enough. Like, he knows more than us. They need more in the front court. They still need more off the bench. But, like, Anthony Simons and Peyton Pritchard on the floor with Jason Tatum, that's great spacing around to Tatum, but then that's a lot of perimeter guys. If Tatum comes back and is the same shooter off the Achilles, it's all about where is he, how close is he to 100%. I'm not expecting him to be super close. I just think this roster is very far from being championship contender. Make a run in the East? Yeah, because the East is weak and you have Tatum and Brown, but championship, I just don't see it.
I don't see it with the Thunder out there. I have so much respect for the Thunder, maybe overly so.
I don't see with the Knicks adding Jordan Clarkson to the mix. Like, they got better,
Yeah. No, I mean, I still have to wait and see
interested.
on the Knicks. I don't know if I buy the Knicks.
Whether you buy them or not, they beat you last year.
Yeah.
And they had you beat
In a
before
playoff
Tatum went
series.
down.
Oh, 100%. It was in a playoff series, you lost to the Knicks. And look, if Karl Anthony Towns plays like he did in the playoffs, that's a tough team.
Yeah.
Because that's you know what you're going to get from Brunson. He's excellent. They've got some role players, some pieces that work for them. I just think this is, as much as I don't want to admit it, I think this is a year where you try to get Tatum back. I'm not saying don't do everything you can to compete. Like, you compete.
Yeah.
But I think it's a year where you try to get Tatum back. Try to get him as close to 100% by the end of the year. Keep him healthy, obviously, but you want him up and going. See what happens, and then it's about figuring out if some of the guys you have on the roster now are rough riders that you can go into business with for the long term. Can Nemish Queta be the guy? Can the guy that you could rely on in a playoff series when you actually think you could win a championship? Can these guys, these Simons, these types of players like that be pieces for you going forward? Can they sort of replace what you had, or do you need to get more invested into the trade, and getting guys that are proven? That's what I think it becomes.
Rebuild?
No.
Reset? Okay.
No, because a rebuild is you don't have it. And I don't know if these guys are ready this year, but a rebuild is like, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out on these players. I need them after the year. I need them gone. I might want to keep Queta around. I might like him enough to keep him around.
Yeah.
I like, we'll see what happens with some defensive lapses happen. Simons could be a guy that I could be into for a little bit.
Yeah, you're like let's extend him.
Let's extend them and see where it continues to go.
Reset.
But a rebuild, it's not you can still get Tatum, Brown, White, Pritchard. You're not
They're here.
You're kind of reset. Reloading is strong.
Reset.
But resetting.
Let's be in the middle.
Reset.
I'm with you. And that's where they can learn a lot about this team. Like, Anthony Simons, more than anybody, his future is dictated by how he plays for the Celtics, and I think they would do right by him to an extent if they don't see him as a long-term fit. The return they could get on a 27-year-old could top 2 option on offense, good shooter, point guard. The return could be massive.
Yeah.
Trade him, a good destination, which they're also projecting to outside free agents. We bring you in, you play here, we extend you, whatever it may be, we'll still send you to a good destination if it doesn't work out, right? Like, there's the now versus the future for how they go. Bamford and Simons, if they like him and they extend him, great piece to have. And that's how it could be a reset year. Tatum comes back, they ease him in. It's a guy that's been attacking the rehab with ferocity where he could easily be back by March, April, which is insane to say.
No, it's not insane to say. He should be back. He should be back. No, he should be back.
So my thing with that on why it's insane
And
to
I say that because of what I've seen.
I don't want him to re-rupture.
No, of course not.
I don't want any lingering issues. And in a year that's a reset and they're clearly not contenders, Mark, why rush him back? That's my thing.
Fine. But
because he could be the guy for the
with
next
that,
10
but
years.
if he's 100%,
bring him back.
Play him.
Yes.
He's
100%.
100%. You don't rush him back, but if he's 100%, play him.
Yes.
Get him back in rhythm and see what you can do.
Yes.
You never know. Maybe there's other guys that get injured and they go down, and then all of a sudden you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You found a little rhythm. You make the NBA Finals. SGA gets hurt. I don't know, and you never know.
Yep.
So if he's 100%, you bring him back. He's never played with a lot of the guys he'd be playing with. So that doesn't bode well for a championship type of aspiration. I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to be more about who are we going to be in business with when Tatum is fully back, when we're all whole again. That's what this year is about, and getting Tatum back, which I think will include playing some basketball.
And it would be big for him to figure out who he can play with. He'll elevate everyone's game. And we know he could play with Pritchard, Hauser, But like Nemish Keita in this type of role, Josh Minot.
Minot, that's another name. Good energy. Is he a guy you want to keep around?
Yeah. And I think he is. How does he look on the floor with the Hugo Gonzalez?
Right.
What kind of 5 can you deploy with him on there? They need to get a lot better in the front court. And look, there aren't many at all. Al Horford's around the league. He was a very special type of player. Defensive stopper, great matchup for Giannis Antetokounmpo to be like just a fire hydrant to beat him defensively.
He was good. Yeah.
Corner shooter, reliable, smart, heady player, buys into his role. He's a championship player, Al Horford.
Right. Especially when you have all those pieces.
Yes. Can he do it on his own? No. And we'll see.
All right.
One big piece. We'll see
Lot to
who
get
they
to.
take
An
on.
interesting game. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the Patriots. It'd be a big win tonight for the Celtics. I'm interested in this game.
I am.
Big win. We'll see what happens.
Game 7 World Series, baby. What does Barger do?
That's right. Let's do it, baby. George, great stuff as always. Georgie, we love it. Let's do it. Granny and Max at the Garden. Celtics, Rockets. The return of Ime Udoka again. KD, we'll see if the Celtics can keep it going. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Enjoy the game.